in the hood.
What it good be? Hopefully it's what it should be. It's your boy N-O-R-E.
What up, is DJ EFN.
And this Military Crazy War Happy Hour. Make some noise! Well, the brother that we are about to talk to today is beyond the icon.
Absolutely.
He's beyond the legend. Me and EFN, I think this is probably, we both agree, music, because I don't think me and you kind of listen to the same type of music, right? But this case, we are both super fans.
Both raised.
Both, this guy raised me.
Yeah.
He's my stepfather, he don't know it. But he has, when it comes to this music business, when it comes to making music, I'm just listening to the music again today, and I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, this is timeless music. Like, you can put out the music that they were making then now, and it still be relevant. When I say this is beyond a legend, when I say this is beyond an icon, when I say this is a person who fights for hip hop, who has hip hop on his shoulder and lives it, lives, breathes, this guy is a person that we have to give they flowers. We have to show the ultimate respect because he is exactly what we all should strive to want to be like. In case you people don't know who we talking about the one, only, motherfucking Chuck D in the building.
Wow. Hey, James Baum is right here.
James Baum, my brother, James Baum is smart.
Yes. And first of all, I'd like to say apologies. Circling each other for 7 to 8 years is unacceptable.
Yes.
Unacceptable. We just happened to circle, and then pandemic, bit 3 years out of our lives.
Yes.
I'd like to thank you, Effin, for giving me a drop on our rap station. I've been doing the rap station thing for like 14 years. It's on Pacifica Networks. It's its own app. It's this thing. You dropped the drop for me. I play it all the time.
Yes.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
You, my man.
Yes.
Thank you for just being you.
Yes. No.
Transcending and all that. I remember I was doing this show. I was doing actually a project. You know the filmmaker Michael Moore?
Yes, Michael Moore, yeah.
So he was doing this project, and this is like 98, and he's doing all these type of things.
It's the best year of my life right there, 1998, yeah.
Well, I'm bringing that full circle. So, he's in the city, right, in New York, and he's like, Chuck, come on with me. What we're going to do is we're going to just like go into these corporations. He's shooting a film like we going into corporations and the places that got sweatshops, but like Nike and all these other spots. Wow. So he goes into Nike Town, right? And he gets like 2 buses of kids from Harlem to storm Nike Town and say, yo, y'all are wrong. And this might be the anti-Nike ad, right? And y'all are wrong. And he got like 2 busloads of kids from Harlem to storm Nike Town on their sweatshops, right?
Wow.
But the bus on the way when it parks up, Super Thug comes on.
Great song, man! Great song!
And it was my first time hearing it that week. And these kids like to tear this bus up because I'm on the bus with them and we pulling up and there's what? And they tore this bus up. I said, Nike's in trouble, yo.
Man. Crazy. Yo, so let's get to the beginning, right?
How far you want to go? Noah's Ark?
No.
But we said 2 wasn't going to work.
because Public Enemy, right? Like, this was like a group that defied the odds, right? You know what I mean? Everyone was kind of, at this time, everyone was, 5% almost, like, and you guys took a stance of having conscious, like, conscious rap, like, you know what I mean?
We're older.
We're rap that mattered, right?
We're older.
Right.
We came from a different time.
And right now, when I'm listening to the music, right? When I listen to new music, no one is teaching. No one is. It's actually murder music.
No,
like,
there's plenty out there. You know, it's just that their stuff is not going to float to the top without the concern of how much could get sold or whatever could get sold for a business proposition. And that's what it is. It's always been this. This is an entertainment business. It's like they do accounting by numbers, man.
Right.
More is better, you know. Better is not always, bigger. In my case, it's like you could be better with the quality instead of the quantity. But that necessarily isn't business, but there's a lot of cats out there. I just did something with a young brother named Consequence. Just did a video. He caught me, he's an independent cat. He caught me at JFK and said, listen, I could get this video in. Because, today, people listen with their eyes.
Yes.
They all screen agents.
Right.
Right. So it's screen agents. Yeah, screen agents.
Did you say screen agents?
Yeah, they're screen agents.
Okay.
And I didn't make it up. I got my antennas up, so when somebody say, yo, Chuck, they screen agents, I'm like, ding, ding, I'm a registered. But they listen with their eyes.
Right.
So necessarily everybody kind of, if they got something, they got to put a visual to it.
Right.
So Consequence stopped me at JFK. Right. Him and his man got out, boom, boom, boom. It's a video clip and it's going up, viral wherever. So they out there making efforts. I think the biggest difference, Nori and Effin, and James would probably agree with me, is that we've seen the business take groups and individualize them.
Okay.
Because it's easy to it's easier to renegotiate, or in our cases in hip hop, renegotiate or renegotiate a contract with one person as opposed to a group.
Right.
And that's probably the biggest difference, because what we've seen since the 90s is individuals instead of groups. So when you first said group, it was a group effort.
Right.
From the Bomb Squad to the S1Ws with Griff, Jay's Bomb, to Flavor and myself.
Right.
Me and Flav, man, I mean, come on, people's like, oh, you guys, man, are so different. Yeah, you're damn right we different. Damn Skippy, we different. You know what I'm saying? It's like we come from a neighborhood, Roosevelt, Long Island, where everybody knew each other, small town on the outskirts of New York. All our peoples is from different areas of New York. My mother and father from Harlem, 151st Street, right? So, people moved out there. You always going back and forth. We went to all the boroughs. Maybe not Staten Island back then.
Okay.
Not till Wu-Tang turned it into Shaolin. I'm talking post-Force MD, right? But we went to check out everything. And so when it came to do something in hip-hop, it was taking all the collective efforts of people that did real things in our neighborhood and just put it to wax, man, put it to rhymes, because in our neighborhood, cats did real things, man. But then we go back being a little older, too, because it wasn't miraculous for a cat in 68 and 69 to have common sense when sense was common. You know what I'm saying? And they realized that they had to do something against that. And so we decided to do what would happen in our neighborhood and put it to wax, because hip-hop was a beautiful thing, man. Hip-hop was such a beautiful thing, man. In the 70s, before it was wax, I wish I could have sliced it and what Starsky, Flash, Melly Mel, DJ Hollywood, you know what I'm saying? What they were doing, Curtis Blow, what they were doing, it was like, you looked up to them like they were aliens, man. And I said, wow, man, and that's what bit me, man. So when we was a group, it was a total group effort. Public Enemy is a culmination of a lot of brilliant parts. They all beautiful cats, man. And like a big, big family in a barbecue, Yeah, people are like, oh man, you guys might have differences. Yeah, you damn Skippy, like family and neighborhood.
God damn it. God damn it.
It's like the original Wu-Tang. If you think about it, as big as that, you guys with the Bomb Squad and then the S1Ws, such
everybody
a collective of people.
Wu-Tang was like, we don't give everybody a mic. But Public Enemy, I had a mic, Flavor had a mic, they know a Griff had a mic. But everybody
that might have turned out differently for Public Enemy. Everybody had a mic.
Yeah. And then let me tell you, in all due respect to the Wu, because they are just amazing. It is just amazing to this day. I mean, if I could be another rapper,
you would be in the Wu-Tang Clan?
I would be Method Man.
Ooh, okay, I can see that.
I mean, even Method Man could read, he could read the newspaper, man, and I'll play it.
All right, yeah. So, did you nickname Busta Rhymes? Did you give Busta Rhymes his name?
Well, Leaders of the New School was a bar and Don't Believe the Hype. And we felt that, Busta was a 5%er, just like a lot of young cats were at the time. You know, it was the seeking the knowledge itself.
Right.
You know, especially back then, it's like, okay, I don't know.
It was dope to be smart back then.
Well.
Now it's dope to be stupid.
Well,
you didn't know your mathematics, you got your ass.
Yeah.
Nah, I mean,
I know my mathematics to this day.
Everything is coming at you, right?
Yeah.
So we said, just understand, there's a certain lifestyle, social martial arts of being able to see what's coming. Yeah. And that's why it was always that quest for knowledge itself. So at that particular juncture, young people say, it ain't gonna be given out here. So I'm gonna gravitate to the 5% and still have a piece of myself. Without it being a regimented situation. So, he would go back and forth from Long Island to Brooklyn, still claim Brooklyn because it's,
it was fly to be from Brooklyn.
Yeah, well, back then it's like people were like claiming.
And everybody had Jamaican belts on.
Well, pretty much, well, especially him.
Especially him.
I'm coming at you. From Jamaica. So I mean, like many people, because New York is a melting pot. When you study New York, it's a melting pot. Everybody's from all over, man. When you study migration, that's the movement of our people. So
what you doing with my water, sir? I don't understand what's going on over here.
So and don't be shy and afraid, man. Because as y'all get your thing, I'm gonna still be here. So but anyway, yeah. So his name was like Chillo Ski.
Oh, that was a horrible name, Busta.
Well, yeah, it might have worked. But what we used to do, we used to be like, listen, man, I'm a big sports head, man, and go Knicks, because I'm catching the game. And big shout out to my man CP, the franchise for Knicks Fan TV. But anyway, I'm a big sports fan. So one thing about sports, you can't just come off the top of your head and say what's what. It's fact is fact, and you got to go off the fact. So I was like, listen, man, we need something to represent the way you spit, the way you guys rhyme, man, but we got to rename y'all because, man, out there, man, there's a million rappers. Like now it's a trillion.
Now it's a trillion.
Back then, it's like, you got to stand
It was a million
out.
back then?
It was a million back then, bro.
Oh, damn.
Yo, man, that's why you can't
Just
come.
it wasn't streaming.
Well, yo, man, you can't come to a New Yorker and say, yo, man, this is that. Because the cat's been like, I've been seeing rhyming for 50 years, yo.
Right.
It's like, so anyway, long story short, I'm like, yo, man, this cat plays football. For Nebraska. His name was Busta Rhymes. I knew at that particular time, man, I said, damn, if I could pick a new name, and I was kind of a little established.
Wait, time out. What did you just say?
His name was Busta Rhymes.
There was a guy,
a football player.
There's a Busta Rhymes that exists?
And he played later on for the Minnesota Vikings.
He has to hate Busta in real life. He has to hate Busta.
I think Busta met him later on. But anyway, I said, listen, dude, and back then I was like,
by the way, you're blowing my mind right now. I'm like, I got chills.
Well, it's documented. So I said, listen, Chillo Ski's not gonna work. You Busta Rhymes. And that's what your name is. Of course, you get the side eye at the time. It's like, nah, I'm not feeling this Busta Rhymes. Son, you Busta Rhymes. Y'all are leaders of the new school. And Hank named Brian Higgins, big up to Higgins and Higgy Higgins' brother. Yo, he named him Charlie Brown. And Dinko D already had a fly.
And they're teenagers at the time, right?
They're teenagers.
Yeah, right.
Matter of fact, they was around. They was always downstairs at the 510 recording studios. And when we first came up with the track of Rebel Without a Pause, they were just hanging around. So every time we play I remember them climbing and running up the sides of the walls, and I'm like, sit your motherfucking asses down. And every time we go back to it, they go crazy and doing like they
and that energy's in their music too. So.
Yo, they like transforming, their bodies was bending and shit, and running up the ceiling, and I'm like, we got something here, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah, let's make some noise for that. That's crazy, yo. Holy shit.
And he always comes to me, and I'm like, Bus, listen, man, you your own man. Yo, you my father. You
No, you are.
Stop it.
No, you are.
Our job is like, listen, Public Enemy, we servicemen. We service. This is our military, man. We don't take the claim and any credit individually, man. This is what we do. We love the art form. We just like, and I'm not in awe. This is a 50th year hip hop. Right. I'm not in awe. I'm 62. I ain't in awe of, in my 63rd year. I ain't in awe of something 50 years old. So I'm just like, I remember when it was on a tricycle.
Hip Hop 50, you got the shirt on, right?
Yeah, I know. It's a lovely shirt.
Grandmaster Caz.
Yeah, Grandmaster Caz.
you know, I'm not in awe of it. I seen it when on a tricycle. Just don't want to see people driving into a ditch. That's all. So I'm saying, you know, we're servicemen, and we give thanks, as Griff would say. So that's the thing is train, mentor, but the same thing in sports, right?
Right.
You know, a young cat that got talent, you want to manifest that into a skill.
Right.
And then you want that skill to work for them so they do their thing. Because, you know, this 50 years of hip hop, but every 5 years is a generation. So there's 10 generations in hip hop.
That's crazy.
10 generations. I mean, look, from, you know, recorded wise, right? Well, you got the first generation, 73 to 78. Then what? You got 79 to 84. That's the first 5 years of recording.
Right, that's where I'm from.
You got 84 to 89.
Okay.
You got 89 to like 94. Then you got 95 to like
You could kind of see those changes in the music.
Oh, and the styles too. Like, yeah.
So every generation got their thing.
Right.
So they got their ways, and if you could find like common denominators to teach them how to do them better.
Right.
Or not even better, because art is subjective, man.
Right.
A lot of people aren't studied in the art, so a lot of times they put it in a competition mode without saying, well, damn, you got licensed to ill as an art.
Right.
You know, so it's not teaching the art of war, it's teaching the war of art.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We just had the Isley brothers on, right? And they spoke about Fight the Power.
Yes.
Them making that record.
Yeah.
And it made me also think, it was like, Fight the Power is saying to fight, you know, against the establishments, the regimes. That's
in 1975 when they made that record.
This is what I'm trying to say. How is that record still relevant to this day, right now? You can still, their version of Fight the Power, your version of Fight the Power.
It's obviously not for good reasons, because
it's not for
you
good
still
reasons.
have to fight the power.
Yeah, we still have to fight the power. Why the fuck we still gotta fight the power?
One of the things is Nina Simone once said that an artist should speak in the time in which they live.
Damn, that's deep.
And Fight the Power is one of those things. You know, at the time, you know, you have all these companies and they in our neighborhood, but they're not giving back. They're not doing anything for the neighborhood. You most of the time, and this is crazy. We're the athletes. You go to our schools, some of the top schools, especially here in Florida. I grew up here in Pahokee, Florida, right? And some of the top athletes. But these companies that they go to, they ain't building nothing. They ain't giving back a community center or a rec center to keep them off the streets. And that was one of the things that, you know, we understood at that time. You gotta speak into the times in which you live. And I think when Nina Simone said that, that was a pivotal time, you know, because these generations, they get lost. And right now they keep it, how you gonna be a boy at 35? You know, you're a man. Right. And they dumbing down rap, really. That's what I'm saying.
I sent you guys a DM on Twitter, Elon Musk's Twitter, but it showed a great example of a young cat. I don't know where he was at, but his name was Ali. And young cats was in the streets and they had beef, but of course, something has lifted into the style of everybody capturing everything. So it's like you got bystanders now trying to document, but it's become this other thing. And he stepped in the middle of it as a slightly older head. Maybe he was 10, maybe 15 years older than them. And, you know, I mean, I'm not going to reiterate everything in the video if I could, but I'm just like saying that example of stand up is what happened all the time because it's standing up with love. And whatever you do and approach anything, you know, you gotta approach with love, man. That's why sometimes in the business, you know, Quincy Jones, Mr. Quincy Jones, he says, you know, like, you know, it's straight up, you know, the art is art, art is love, and introducing conversation with especially, you know, young men in the streets and all that, he's got to do it with love. But as soon as business is happening, you know, once money comes in, God walks out the room.
Right.
So
it perverts the love.
Right.
So,
Corrupts it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got to represent, you know, a lot of times, you know, this This is the crown.
Iconic.
Of course, I got to take, because I got to show my generation. My generation took these off. You know what I'm saying? But I would say that.
I leave mine on. I didn't know that was generational.
Here's another thing. Everybody.
I didn't know. You just schooled me.
No. It's very cool to stay in your lane. Cats is like coming to me. I say, yo, man, that ain't my lane. I got love for it, but it ain't my lane.
As long as it's your lane. The problem is people trying to jump in other lanes that aren't comfortable for them.
Bro, listen, I ain't trying to appeal to nothing. I ain't trying to sell anything. I'm actually, my team's always like, oh, you need to sell. I'm like, I'm in it for the art. You know what I'm saying? It's the opposite of maybe, and big respect out to Jay and everybody. I'm not a businessman. So,
that's real.
I've
never heard nobody rap say that before.
I am an artiste. I'm an artiste since 1960. You know, art is short for artificial. It's not real. It's a facsimile of the life that we see and lead. But that's my choosing. You know, I think when it comes down to
up every sentence.
Well, I think when it comes down to business, it's like you only could do so much of yourself as an individual, but how much like this team around you. You work and you strive to go forward, to evolve and all that for them to be able to come up and grow. And I've been very fortunate, and we've always had bumps in the road because you never see me out there, yo, buy this, buy that, buy that. And there's nothing against that. But we've been, as black folk and even others involved with us, like employable for amongst ourselves for like what, 35 years, 36 years?
36.
So you don't think for yourself. Because a lot of times people are like, oh man, you're getting this, you're getting this. Nah, man, I got to think for the totem pole of people who are coming up. How do they make a living? How do they get their first house? You know what I'm saying? That's the theme of what this should all be about. It's no knock on anybody that doesn't have that thing because we're all individuals, we're human beings. There is a human glitch, but I'm not the one to figure it out. I'm just not in the business of making black folk look bad. I'm just, and I'm saying I'm not in that business. And there's businesses out there that thrive on it ever since what? Shackles, slavery, boats.
Yeah, boats.
You know what I'm saying, like that.
But I mean, let's be clear, right? You guys had major success, and with success comes, all the other parts of the world. Like, how come I've never heard Chuck D involved in no conspiracy scandal? But obviously it was around.
We've been 116 countries.
116.
Wow.
I'm sorry, I'm making some noise for that. I'm sorry. By the way, let me just be clear. By the way, let's just be clear. I didn't even know there was 116 countries. I didn't even know that.
222 now.
I thought I had success.
Yeah.
Until just now. That just hurt me.
Success.
I didn't even know it was 200 countries.
Success is relative, bro. You're very successful.
No, but hold on. You've been to 116 countries.
Yeah, but
and I'm over
and over.
I'm gonna just throw it out there.
I understand this.
I'm gonna just throw it out there.
But look, there's people out there like Master Ace. Who
there's a lot of.
I mean, Ace out there is always living somewhere else in the world.
God bless Master Ace.
This is a
but
planet
you up, Chuck
Earth.
D? You got over some church a lot.
Well, but the thing about it, you're invited to go to these places, and our whole school of where we came from is that you're invited to go to the places, leave an impression, make a path for others to come in and romp shit out. Because, I mean, listen, the positive thing, the this, the that, whatever, the number one goal, as we're taught by our master teacher, Dougie Fresh.
That's right.
Right?
Look at Dougie Fresh as well.
Fresh, man.
Leave that fucking stage fucking destroyed.
Yes.
Destroy that stage with rap and music and hip hop. We'd be like, no, we didn't make appealing music. Matter of fact, we made music at the same time. Like, we trying to make you not like our music. So when you see us, you be like, what the fuck is this? I mean, it's sort of like that crazy ass heavy metal attitude.
You never had like the groupies outside.
Yeah, everybody. It's part of the world, man.
It's a part of the landscape.
It's part of the sound. You're in the entertainment business, man. The whole thing I've been telling people all my life is like, oh man, I didn't think you were so engaging. I said, dude, I've been in the entertainment business. I'm not a preacher. I don't have no churches, man. I'm not, I don't write I've written dissertations, but I'm saying that I am in the entertainment business. Hip hop, rap music is my thing. That is my religion. I'll go around and stomp out a bar. Well, definitely back in the day, I'll be like, listen, I would have to ask you like Alonzo Mourning. When I hit that stage, it's like, we're gonna come and tear this shit up. But
did you just say Alonzo Mourning?
Well, that's I was a big, because Barkley, Oakley. I would see Alonzo Mourning with that vein in the side of his head. Coming to the court, I was like, and go take that stage and chew it up. But you got to get taught that. Right. And when you first start, and big up to my man Paul and say, he was in Passaic. He saw our first show.
Big Chance Sports.
He saw our first show in Passaic, New Jersey. Number one.
Really?
In 1987.
With Beastie Boys,
we opened up for the Beastie Boys, April 1st. And
I was 10 years old.
You was 10 years old,
I was 10 years old, yes.
Wow.
The Capitol Theater in Passaic.
That's dope.
Number one, you start out, right? And I couldn't, number one, you trying to I'm trying to not fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Right. And then the Beastie Boys, that second show we did with them, we in an arena. We in the arena like the same spot I be seeing cats play basketball. Like we played Providence, the second show, arena. And I'm like, whoa, like the audience looked like a pizza. Like a calico rug, right? How do you?
How do you just make pizza sound bad?
I know. So, but you don't see nothing, and then all of a sudden, right? I was getting through that tour nervous. I was nervous my whole first year, and we finally.
I can't see Chuck D nervous.
Oh man, I'm nervous as hell.
So you told him about 1987 in the Latin Quarters with Melly Mel.
Well, we'll get to that story later. But listen, so I'm so nervous, and one day I'm seeing Mike D. He was like totally drunk, right? And he did his verses, and he just fell out. But he's still on the floor laughing. And I was like, you could do that? So
anything goes.
Once I saw Mike D did that, I loosened up because I'm like, damn, anything goes on a stage if you could kind of still stay with it. And it was three of them. And that loosened me up like crazy. So, yeah, man, it's like, I'm a firm believer you're an owner to what you think, but a slave to what you say. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times people are like, oh man, watch out for Vlad. Watch out for Drink Champs, man. Yo, man, sound bites and clicks. I'm like, you're an owner to what you think.
That's right.
You slave to what you say.
Don't blame us.
Yeah, no, I ain't gonna blame you. Shit. Oh yeah, by the way, I didn't say that. The fuck out of here. Yo, listen.
You the sum of what you think.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, man, the easiest thing.
A lot of people blame alcohol, and it's not alcohol. Alcohol just enhances who you are.
Yeah,
it's who you already is.
It rolls it out, and I'll get to that in a second. But like I said, the easiest thing for people to deal with is saying, fuck, I don't know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And even if they press, but see, here we in the game, and let me tell you, Public Enemy, if you say all that, we was the first to take on the interview with a vengeance. Myself, Griff, James. There was no music press at all for black artists in the 80s. Prince and Michael Jackson wasn't fucking with no interviews.
Right.
So, and then after Run DMC got accused of starting riots in 1986.
Before NWA?
No, they got accused for starting riots because there was a big conflict. Crips and the Bloods, 1986, Long Beach, California. They had and the press didn't even know what to call it, so it must have been Run DMC. So I just kind of just
back then the Crips and Bloods, holy shit.
Yeah, because they had factions in the beginning of the Crips and Bloods, and I'm not going to be an expert on this, but in the beginning they were neighborhood guardians.
Right. Yeah.
But then, just like in New York, all of a sudden, the 1980s, which is R&B, Reagan and Bush, right? They come in, and all of a sudden in the neighborhood, including our neighborhood in Long Island, there's an influx of guns. Yeah. There's an influx of drugs out of nowhere, right? And this is on the tail end of the 70s. And y'all saw the movie, American Gangster and stuff like that, and the whole Nicky Barnes and the Lucas story and all that. but also that was tied into other situations. You could go into the CIA and all that stuff. And
all that,
I'm pretty sure. I mean, you got the name Noriega, right?
Yeah, it's fucked up. Yes.
Snowfall right now depicts all of that, right?
But like there is no accident. So in the 80s when this came up, you know, all of a sudden in Los Angeles, what used to be the neighborhood guardians, you know, hey, look, you don't come to this turf, this Crips blood. Then all of a sudden you fueling the next generation, the young heads that's like, okay, I mean, yo, I'm getting this money, and old head ain't got no money. So now money is the dividing line. Right. God walks out the room. So they turn into a different army with guns. We're like, boom, boom. So it's like, where does this thing come from? In 86, they got everybody listening to rap music. K-Day's the radio station out there. They got everybody in the spot, and it just happened to be the meeting place where cats convened and something broke out, and they blamed it on rap music. 1986.
That's what I was saying.
And I told Bill Adler, I said, you know what, man? I'm ready to do this Public Enemy thing because I'm gonna be the motherfucker that they ain't never gonna see before. And I was trained to like do interviews and give interviews and shit like that. Being a sports fan. So that one thing led to another, and the birth of Public Enemy, we would be getting large expanses of interviews, man, all over the world, because I said, yo, what we have is something y'all don't know about, and we know everything about you. That's the same thing like in martial arts that these guys do. It's like,
he look like he do martial arts. He look like you gonna kick somebody's ass.
They're teachers.
I'm gonna be honest. You gonna start smiling at some point.
He, Griff, Roger, James. I mean, they been there since minute one. They used to do the security of our gigs with myself, Hank, Keith Shockley, you know, and you know we used to do the gigs. Flavor, myself. Keith was on the radio station doing mixes and stuff like that. So we all just brought the community together. Well. Terminator X, of course. You know, so we brought it all together to be this one thing. And I'm just finishing up the Public Enemy thing. It's like, I said no for 2 years.
No to doing what? Public Enemy?
I didn't want to do records. We wanted to be what Def Jam was building, and we wanted to be like the Motown of hip hop. Because I mean, myself, Bill Stephanie, Hank, we wanted to like you see like what came out of it, like Busta and them. Right. It was like, you know, and we have more to come out. So I was a key development person. I was like the Smokey Robinson, man. I would work with the artists, arrange them, we would name it, do the art, stuff like that. We would all put, you know, cats in a gig. We would treat them right when they come to Long Island. It was like, man, we'll bring you out, we'll treat you like superstars, and we'll send you back home safe. Boom, one of our biggest groups that we always had a ball is promoting Stetson Sonic.
Stetson Sonic?
Yeah, man. My man Daddy O is like Daddy O. Big up to Daddy O. He's like the guru. Professor Daddy. So
he's ready to come and drink, Shannon.
He had like 3,000 haircuts.
Yeah.
Always a different haircut. Oh.
So I didn't mean to take it there or whatever, but I'm saying that like when you go around the world, the number one thing to wherever you at is know the law. Because when you know the law, then you can operate on figuring out its flaws when you have no justice to fight the law. You can't fight the law not knowing the law.
Right.
And then expect some clap back on that. That was the Black Panthers. Yeah. Black Panthers was college students, neighborhood activists that knew the law and used the law.
Right.
And still...
That's how the Crips got invented, was through that. Yep.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, listen, man. A community is always full of thinkers and doers.
Right.
You know, you need thinkers, right? But they could come up to a certain point. Right. So you need doers, but they just can't just be doing shit.
Anything.
Yeah. So you need a combination, and that's what we was, a combination: thinkers, doers, movers, shakers. But also, let's not get it twisted. We're in the entertainment business in hip hop. We're just trying to give young people something to do. We're just trying to be active. We're trying to be motivating and give young people something to do by enlightening them and not looking down on them. Although there's a lot of things you can look down on, but you got to look across it and say, listen, man, how do you think this is going to work long term? Is it a good look? You got to ask them questions. You got to engage on that. But that's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work.
But hold up. You mentioned, going back to you saying that you wanted to be the Motown, you wanted to produce and develop. Was that chance one of the first chances when Cube, that opportunity came for you guys to produce America's Most Wanted?
And let's just be clear.
Like, how did that all come about?
Can I?
Because that was a marriage of two great worlds.
Because let me just say something. And I watched Math Hoffa and them talk about this.
They have a fantastic show.
Yeah, Math Hoffa. So what happened was on there, they said that Smith & Wesson, at one time, Smith & Wesson got down with Tupac at that time where Tupac was hated on the East Coast.
Right.
So at that time, I'm going to be honest, as a fan, I was not into this music industry at all. I was thrown off a little bit too, because how easily Ice Cube was accepted in the East Coast, because I didn't feel, this is me as a person. This is not Nori. This is Poppy in Left Rack City. I felt the West Coast would not do that to any other artist other than Public Enemy. Like, we wouldn't be accepted in the West Coast. But when Ice Cube came here, it was like all arms, in my opinion. This is my humble. No industry.
Felt like NWA and Public Enemy were the same.
No industry.
We toured together.
See, but you got to remember, we didn't have Instagram back then. We didn't know that. We didn't know that y'all had a relationship. So
the media wasn't the same. Like, people discovered America's Most Wanted, and in that moment discovered that he left NWA. That's how I, as a kid, open it up and I see Bomb Squad, and I'm like,
here's the crazy thing about that. I'm sorry making this question so long.
It's your show.
But no. But here's the crazy thing about that. I was so much an NWA fan at that time, I didn't want to accept anything that was going against NWA.
But I was such a fan of both that to see that marriage, I was, this is like the best thing that could ever happen.
You see our childhood is being fucked up right now?
The whole country together, man. The whole country together. And I think the night, this is what?
I love Chuck is loving it. I love that he's loving this. But
Cube came to the show we did at the Palladium, and what was it, 88? 89?
Listen, I'm the only reason I'm a fact checker, because all I did all my life as being a sports fan is watch this hip hop shit, and I was a fan of everything.
Right.
From before records, I was a fan. I didn't want to do it. I just wanted to be a fan. I wanted to do flyers. That's why I gave you an art book. I did the best flyers. I wanted to compete and bust everybody in the world in flyers. Go to the gig, dance up a storm, go home knowing I got my hip hop in. It was a rebel type of thing with me.
Wait up, Chuck D dances?
Shit, man. Wait, the 70s was the dance era, bro. Bro, listen, bro. And I'm not gonna go off tangent. I was in high school in 76 and 77, bro.
Okay.
I graduated in 78.
You ain't have a Gumby.
Nah, I ain't Gumby. Fuck no. You had to go. I mean, I was in college in 1978, bro. You know what I'm saying? Although I tried to be rebellious and wear kicks, sometimes they'd be like, nah, we ain't fucking having them kicks up in here. And you had to make adjustments.
Right.
You know, I wasn't wearing Playboys, but, you know, I was platforms or whatever. If you didn't want to be a wallflower, man. What the fuck you standing on the wall? It's dance music, man. This shit is popping. DJs is rocking and stuff. And so you would stand on the wall and girls is in the spot. When you gonna get on the wall?
Yeah,
and if you ain't one of those big afro, do the hustle, pretty boys, you better fucking have some fucking game.
Right.
You better just get off that wall and make it happen. The party is trying, throw your hands in the air.
I had no game and I couldn't dance.
That shit. Like,
that was me.
You know, find one, grind one, get behind one, let's go. You know what I'm saying? So the DJs and the MCs was like trying to get the party moving. If you ain't moving, security problem.
Right.
And when you have the party not popping, especially if it's lopsided on population, you got Penitentiary 6, man. It's a security problem. See, today, they spend a lot of money on security, right? They spend a lot of money on security. Back then, your shit had to be so popping that the super thug out of the super thug be like, you know what, I ain't trying to fuck this party up, and nobody else better not fuck this party up. You know what I'm saying? That's just
the DJ with security making sure everybody kept moving, right?
And then Flash and them wasn't lying. Right. If you was a whack DJ, not only will you might get shot at, motherfuckers is taking your shit. What you gonna do? Oh, police, stop this. You know,
you DJs better be lucky you born in this generation, because you be dead.
I'm trying to tell you now, you didn't want that problem, man. Right. You didn't want that problem also taking black people's money, man. There was Hank told me a story once, man, that he went to this spot in Brooklyn, man, and the act was so whack, man. They robbed everybody when leaving. Cats in Brooklyn robbed everybody upon leaving the venue.
Close to the act. We need to blow this hip hop group up.
Oh
Who are
my
they?
God. My point is, before you took me to the dance world, like Danny Terrio.
Go back to Ice Cube. Go back to
Ice Cube. Right,
yeah.
Thank you.
Because let me just reiterate what my point is.
You want to take me to another tangent?
No.
My point is, it was something that it had never been done before. Like the East Coast
wasn't easy. Number one, you from the 4 boroughs at that particular time. 4 boroughs. And Queens is barely hanging on.
Damn.
Listen, bro. I'm born in Queens.
Okay.
Flushing 19...
Stay with us. Don't throw us out the window.
Flushing 1960, all right?
Okay.
4 years before Shea Stadium was built.
Before Chinese people invaded Flushing.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And also, I lived in... I tell this to Marley and them all the time. Nas and Cormega. My family, we lived in Queensbridge the first 3 years.
Goddamn, make some noise for Chuck D.
Yeah.
Queensbridge, goddamn.
Big up to Cormega.
Yes, big. That's cool.
That's my mix.
We got to get Mega on here. He's having some issues with his label right now, and we would like him to express it.
He's a beautiful cat, man.
He's a great guy.
Beautiful cat,
he's a great guy. And, but Ice Cube,
guys, come on, let's.
Big happy birthday, Large Professor, and also DJ Premier.
God damn it, Large Professor and DJ Premier. Let's go ahead. Yeah.
All right, effing back to Ice Cube.
Yeah, but Ice Cube. So how does this call happen? He just calls you out the blue. What?
Well, number one,
beep. You got.
We come out with Yo Bummers the show in 1987. We a crew. We ain't from the city, and we in car culture. I mean, You're Gonna Get Yours is the first single released, I guess. And I give my love to my '98 Oldsmobile. Really, I ain't had a '98 Oldsmobile because the '88. Yeah, the '98 posse. Those were the kind of like thugs in Long Island. I mean, but they all drove '98s, Oldsmobile '98s.
Right.
The crazy thing about them is everybody used to come out to Roosevelt, which they call the Harlem of Long Island, right?
Yeah.
And they had the Roosevelt roller rink. And cats used to come from Queens and Brooklyn. And the '98 posse was from Hempstead, Roosevelt, New York.
Wine Dance?
Nah, that's further out.
Okay, fine.
Now that spot's another level.
Okay.
Right? But the '98 posse, man, they were so unique that they would put their cars together. They were all mechanics. They would rob you. They would you don't want to get on the wrong side of them. Matter of fact, our
mechanics that would rob you.
Yo, listen, our gigs had standoffs between the '98 posse and the S1Ws, who was in security. And then finally they came together saying that anybody that come to our gigs, you better not fuck up because
it was almost a war with them one night in Hempstead, New York at Korean Ballroom.
Yeah, well, anyway, they ended up being together. Like, you didn't want to mess up one of our events because, you come out there, mess up our event, there ain't nothing happening out there. It ain't like, we ain't got things like Queens and Brooklyn. You mess up an event out there, it's a problem. So they even got together, the Super Thugs and also the S1Ws. So you came out there, it was an unbelievable experience.
Right.
Long story short, 98 posse, they would put their cars together. They would cut off the highways so you couldn't get up out of there.
Oh, wow.
And they, so they were pretty much a theme. So Bum Rush the Show was our first album, and it operated around something similar, in Los Angeles. You ain't catching a bus out there. You ain't got no car, man, especially you in Carson or Torrance or them outskirt places.
Carson City, yeah?
Man, you ain't getting nowhere.
Right.
So they understood.
Right.
There was similarities, in us and Ice-T, who's out there. Matter of fact, he was the friend. Big up to my bro, Ice-T.
Yeah.
Because every year, Ice-T makes history. You know why? Because he's the eldest, and he gets in those rare air. So Ice-T, when he turns of age, like 64, 65, I think 65, he like, man, no rapper ever been there. And then 10 years later, they was like, oh, so-and-so turned 60. Like, Ice-T did that shit 10, 15 years ago.
He's still pioneering.
Yeah, exactly. And doing heavy metal rap and rapping. I'm like, what the fuck, man? And doing...
And he's such a great person, man.
And doing TV 25 years and all.
Ice-T has never told me no. Like, I stopped asking him shit for shit, because I'm like...
People always try to know.
He's going to tell me no, and then I'm like, I'm going to...
He's the Kiss the Ring godfather for real.
Yes.
So NWA, when they came out their first record, they did what Wu-Tang did 11 years later. they had a whole bunch of cats out there rhyming, little crews, and they grouped them all together. If you look at NWA and the Posse,
right,
they wear clocks on the back of the dock.
Yep, I have the Fila and the Fila Fresh Crew.
I didn't put that together.
Yeah.
Yeah. They wearing clocks.
Yeah.
So,
oh my God, I was nowadays year old.
At the end of '87, we started doing, shows, and they start saying, oh, NWA, because they had Dope Man and stuff like that. Cube.
Easy had already come out.
Easy already came out.
Right.
DOC was from Texas, but he was part of a crew out in Texas. And Macola Records was an independent record label. And actually, it was a record label from a pressing plant they had in LA. Just kind of took all the rappers at that particular time, and in that time of '87, grouped them together, and that was NWA. Niggas with attitude, but it meant a lot of crews.
Arabian Prince was down with them.
Arabian Prince, all the founders, Lonzo and all those cats, man. And they had their scene out there, and this was put in together. And then we toured a couple of times, and that's when I first started, knowing Dre, knowing Cube, who basically looked up to me and said, well, I got my style off of you. And I was like, well, I got this style off of Schoolie D. And then I talked to Schoolie D. Big up to Schoolie D, my bro.
Philly, Schoolie D, right?
Schoolie D.
Philly legend.
Yeah, man. So and I told him, well, I got that style off of Schoolie, man, in '86. And Schoolie's like, I got that shit off of Mel.
Wow.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
That's dope
So we a fraternity.
Right.
And although, even after us in the 90s and the 2000s, people don't think that there's lineage. There's lineage.
Yeah.
So Cube, at that particular time was like, bro, they coming up, NWA, and then we come on with Takes a Nation of Millions. And this is funny. We play in Vegas, and NWA's on the show. And, I get the test pressing from Glenn Friedman, who actually is the photographer who did the Nation's cover, Bum Rush the Show, Ice-T. Matter of fact, the first time I met Ice-T in LA, he looked just like Ron Pay's cover. Except for Darlene wasn't in that cover. So it was him, Evil, and Africa Islam pulled up in that Porsche. It was like, yo, I'm gonna give you the rules when you come out to LA, and there's stuff like that. But Glenn Friedman was the photographer. And so he was there in LA, in Las Vegas when we played, and he had the Takes a Nation album. And I'm getting the test pressing, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, what the fuck is, because we're in the art direction down to the T.
Right.
Glenn's a little anal, because he'd be like, the drop shadow ain't right. And Glenn be trying to get a royalty off the artwork. I'm like,
by giving you a little.
Wait. Glenn would take a photo, and he tried to go to Def Jam and say, I want a royalty off of my photo. They was like, nah, that's unprecedented. I don't know if we could do it. But he tried. He tried.
Shout out for him for trying.
He tried, right? Like they say, if you don't ask for nothing, you don't know if you're ever gonna get it. So I remember Easy and Dre also being in the wings. And I handed it to them, and they were looking at this shit like, what the fuck?
Did you say Easy
and
Dr. Dre?
Yeah, Easy
saw the original artwork.
We're in the same corridor. Wow. Matter of fact, Mike Tyson was in that same corridor, because I think LL was getting down. And also Jalil from Houdini.
Wow.
And here's a funny thing, right? Jalil, man, big up to Jalil from Houdini. And also X, those are my master teachers too. So Mike, this is Mike Tyson, 1988.
Okay.
Jalil, right? And Jalil is like, he tells everybody else, my name is Jalil. He wasn't telling Mike shit. He didn't say nothing. Jalil, and Jalil was like, you
can't correct Mike.
That's the same 54, 4 nights in a row, and Mike Tyson hung out with us.
God damn it.
So, man, that same corridor, I'm passing that Easy and Dre. And then, of course, Cube's bro coming up on that. They've developed, and the next thing, boom, next year, Straight Outta Compton, which was more like, like that East Coast fast speed muscle. And Dre was a 1-man, 2-man operation in there, where he could do all the shit that Hank, myself, Eric Vietnam Sadler, Keith, you know, we all in a room, you know, doing some shit. There's a one dude that do this shit with an engineer, and straight out of Compton. So NWA comes up, does their thing. Then again, like I said, with groups, you know, you got issues, you got schedules, you got conflicts, and Cube wanted to do a solo record and said that, you know, Easy and Dre told him to wait maybe a year or two. And back in them days, man, a year or two.
Years, 10 years.
Yeah, man. It's Rip Van Winkle, man. I'm saying so. Cube decided to, you know, do it with us. And it is a key statement right here. In 1989, NWA played the Apollo. I was there that night.
Okay. Sold out?
Yo, man, New York roasted them. They was like,
okay, time out. I want to make sure roasted means the same thing.
No, bro. Any way you want to put roasted, don't say it ain't gonna end well. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God.
Roasted them. And I told them downstairs, I said, listen, you guys are from 3,000 miles away. Los Angeles Los Angeles miles will be Neptune, man, not New Jersey. Neptune, outer space. Right. You got to go through this in New York. Trust me, I'm from Long Island, man. I went through this shit. Next year, if you show perseverance, a New Yorker want to be shown that you get up.
I'm sorry, I don't want to act like I what's that word mean?
What?
Perseverance?
Perseverance.
What that mean? Like, keep going.
No, I ain't got a bunch of big words like that. I draw pictures
Commitment.
now. I do art now, man. So anyway, you know, like I said, next year, you got to show that you could come back and do something. Somebody, because this is New York, and this is Apollo.
Yeah.
They've been
boo themselves.
They've been passing coffins out of here for the last 70 years, man. They boo themselves, right? You know, like
New York, we hate New York.
Yeah, you're going in there,
so
man.
So we gonna hate you too. You know, this is a fact.
Yeah, man. There's hearse waiting on the back of the Apollo every show, man. So sure enough, Ice Cube comes back the next year after we do the America's Most Wanted because he had conflict, and then
this is after then.
Well, we did America's Most Wanted.
And before America's, you did the joint with Big Daddy Kane, Burn Hollywood Burn.
Well, how it happened, we was in Green Street recording, and me and Kane had been circling around, just like me and the Drink Champs.
Green Street, that's a studio? It's a studio? I worked in Green Street once.
Me and Kane was circling around. Yeah, I'm going to do this record with you. I'm like, yeah, we circling. And finally, it rendezvoused where we were at the same place at the same time. So Kane came down to do this record, Burn Hollywood Burn. And that's my sentiment and my feelings to this moment. Like, burn Hollywood Burn. I ain't never gonna have conversations in a Hollywood boardroom. I'm gonna work with a team and they gonna have those conversations. I'm about the art, right? So we got this thing, Burn Hollywood Burn. And Cube was there on the couch because I first sent them to like, well, go, you know, I don't wanna get in the middle of conflict. That's a group thing. Yo, can y'all produce my album, The Bomb Squad? I'm like, I'm not getting in the middle of that. I go hook up with Sam Sever. And he talked to Sam Sever, and I think I sent them to somebody else. I was trying to get producers for Cube. Cube was like, man, fuck that. I want y'all to do my shit. I was like,
He was right.
I don't want to get in the middle of that. No, I can't.
So there was hesitation. A lot of hesitation.
Like,
see, no one knows this stuff.
They got
I thought you guys jumped like it just happened.
That's what it felt like.
It felt like
it's all about what? Alliances. Yo, we're neutral party, man. You know what I'm saying? Boom, boom, boom. You'll figure it out. We got your blessings in the back, whatever. We're a sovereign nation, right? So, sure enough, one thing led to another. Hank thought it was a challenge. Once he was kind of told, like, it might be all right. And then Hank was like, yo, let's go for it. Let's do this. And we already had the knockout Fear of a Black Planet. And then Hank and Eric and them was finishing up the BBD album.
But did y'all change the sound, like, to make it more?
No, because Cube came in with what he wanted.
Wow.
Sir Jinx was with him.
Jinx, yep.
And they worked with Eric, Vietnam Sadler, and we just showed them. Like, the first thing I did with Cube, when I went to LA and we finally agreed, I said, fuck all this, that, the bells, whistles, pyro, and all this. Stop by that CVS shop. Pick up a 99-cent notebook. I said, that's where it all starts, bro. Simple things. I'm not teaching Cube anything. It's like, listen, don't try to do shit overnight. Don't try to change overnight and do what we do. You can morph there on your own. Try not to say the same thing twice. You're not making an extended single, you're making an album. make some records that people like, but make a couple records that some shit hate. Cube took it to the hill. He's like, I'm the nigga you love to hate. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, just don't always try to please. Because hip hop is also, you know, if you have a boardroom or a record company, they always trying to get motherfuckers to just be on their knees and like, love me. And hip hop has got to also be like, no, I don't give a fuck if you don't like none of this.
Right, go the opposite direction.
My job. But see, to me, it's been like almost to a point of like disservice. Like I'll be like, I hope you hate this shit so I can beat your ass with this shit. I mean, there was nothing appealing about Public Enemy music. Nothing.
Even the name was kind of offensive. Public Enemy.
Want you.
Right, that is insane.
Like you can think about it.
Yeah, we were like, it was just a total contrarian thing. It's like, we want you to not like this shit.
Right.
But when we leave the spot, because we said love and hate is the same emotion.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Once you flatlining and you're in the middle of the road and you kind of pleasing, you kind of not pleasing, I don't want to offend nobody, and you in the middle, you unnoticed, especially back then.
Right.
If you playing with a bunch of acts, if your shit ain't popping, you gonna be sent back home.
That's right.
And being sent back home is the worst thing.
Right.
I remember a couple groups got sent back home and they were kicking rocks in the summertime, man. And like New York is not the place to be if you know a group is out there on the road and on the tour. So one thing led to another. Long story short about Cube, did America's Most Wanted. I had to leave out at the end of the productions and head off on tour. But in 12 weeks, the Bomb Squad did Fear of a Black Planet, Belle Biv DeVoe.
Wow.
And then America's Most Wanted.
I didn't know Bomb Squad did Belle Biv DeVoe.
And then Cube was soaring into the stratosphere after that. And then once Cube...
the production was genius on America's.
But once Cube and Genius got it, and that particular style, man, he came out with that Kill At Will EP.
Yep.
And my favorite record of Cube was Jackin' for Beats.
Was there any slack from the East Coast for like just accepting a West Coast artist at that time?
There was a little interpretation, but you know, like at the same time, it's
I gotta ask what that word means. I'm sorry.
There was a little hesitation.
People were side-eyeing. They were side-eyeing.
But you know Espanol, so you got an advantage. See, you know Espanol. See, we know reggaeton. Yeah, but still it's an advantage. See, let's get a sidewinder. Let's get a side comment for a second. Bring me back, though. Bring me back. But in this country, the arrogance of like when they look at people who are multilingual,
Right.
they look at them lesser than when most people in this country know fucking barely one language.
Right.
They don't even speak the King's language. So when they like, oh yeah, I got this worker working for me, but they don't know no English.
Right.
The fuck? They know 4 languages, man. They have an advantage over you, and you have a disadvantage. That's when I was growing up, I always thought black was an advantage. You know why? I said, shit, I know everything about everybody, but they don't know shit about me.
Right.
I got them. I'm gonna go wherever I want to go. It's like almost being on the court, but knowing that you could go on both sides with both hands. It's like they can't stop me to the hoop.
Yes.
And that's why we try to say, this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, you're not gonna get it in a microwave. But you could get it like to the point where it works to your advantage. Now everything, people like, oh man, I know who black people are, because I got nothing but rap songs. And so therefore, but you getting one side and you think you know us. Well, you don't know my mom's struggle. You don't know my aunt's, middle name and stuff like that. So let's grow together and stop act like you know everything about us before you sell and market to us, oh, we got them figured out. Because what's gonna happen is that they're gonna say, well, we ain't got you, old head, OG, you on the way out. We got your grandkids anyway, because we have programmed them to go where we want them to go and believe what we want them to believe. That's why you always have to have the legacy of at least OGs. They can't be measured by money. Money is just a construct, man, just like race is a construct. But we have to understand the truth in the matter is that the darker people of the earth in these present times, and talking the last 200, 300 years, we have been disadvantaged and ostracized for a lot of different reasons.
I know ostracized.
And we got to come up out of that.
Right.
And in order,
finally I know a word.
And in order, there's a quest to say accept us as a part of the human race.
Right.
There's no such thing as alien from another planet, but it's a come up, and we deserve the right to come up and be respected. you know, you could throw some what they call it, lie in the wash. You know what I'm saying? LYE in the wash, and it could corrupt a lot of different things. So it's always, you know, what's constant elevation, man. That's all it's about. So anyway, where was the part I said I didn't want to get lost?
Cube.
Okay. Yeah, well, Cube, yeah, so it's a simple fact of the matter. Cube went into the stratosphere after that. He came to New York, and when Cube played the Apollo in 1990...
After the buoy.
Man.
He came back.
Man.
Imagine.
What?
Well,
yes. He had an attitude.
I'm surprised Apollo was still standing, man.
Because he burned
Did he do Jacket for Beats?
What?
When he played that?
I forgot what his set was. Jacket for Beats came in 91.
I'm gonna tell you how I know New York was probably the hardest place to play ever. Was when I got a call from Big Boy from Outkast one time, and Big Boy said, "Can you come with me to the tunnel?" And I said, "Why?" And he was like, "I just want a New Yorker to stand next to me." And they were 10 million at the time. I don't even think I was gold, so I didn't know the need, and all it was I just stood there with a Big Boy and we just stood on stage. But New York would not throw a bottle or no, not because I was actually present. I didn't know that was a cheat code.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I was just saying, man.
I mean, regionally it matters to bring someone from that area.
Big up the big boy,
but
too,
just think about it. Atlanta and people from out of town knew that. They knew that. Listen, you know, New York, well, the crazy shit is, I remember Jay telling me this story. And this is recently when we sat down with him, and Jay said, I always think about the out-of-towners who out-of-towners think that it's New York that hates on them. He's like, no, we hate on each other.
What?
He said Biggie got thrown the same bottle that I got thrown. Whoa. And it's like, what? But the out-of-towners don't know that. You know what I mean? And this is a long conversation that we have on Drink Champs. Is a lot of people thought that New York was arrogant. And what they didn't realize was it was just an attitude that we had.
Well, I told you because we have the debate that, like, for us in Miami and I think other regions, felt industry-wise. I always say it's not the people in New York. The industry that was centralized in New York was very New York centric and I'm talking about hip hop wise.
Right.
They weren't letting people in, and that's what people were getting kind of angry with the South. That's why, you know, the Jay Princes and the Death Rows and everybody started to come up to combat that.
And even that Outkast statement,
Luke being one of the first independents.
Even that Outkast statement when they won the award, the South has something to say. It felt like they were saying New York ain't only it.
Well, they better. I mean, listen, Public Enemy was the first to actually, in the Bring the Noise tour in 1988, we was the first group that not only, we had to break the mold. To break the mold was like everything up to then was groups coming out of New York in the summertime. Right. You had the Fresh Fest in 84 and 85. I mean, the Fresh Fest, filling arenas, basketball.
Tour in 1987.
And then before that, you had Raising Hell in 1986. Run DMC, LL Cool J, Beastie Boys, you know, boom. So they, you know, everything was summertime. And in 88, they had two tours at the same time in the summertime. You had the Dope Jam tour, Eric B, Rakim, big up to Eric B.
Big up Eric B and Rakim.
Rakim, Kool Mo D, big up to Mo. You know, Ice-T. I mean, that was like, bam, everybody. And then on the other tour was us, Run DMC, Jazzy Jeff, Fresh Prince. That's Will Smith for y'all. Some of you.
Now we some old niggas in here too.
EPMD. And also JJ Fad, right? And there's two tours. So at the end of that year, man, we had so much like momentum. There was like, we said, listen, man, we could do a tour in the wintertime. Right. And they said, yeah, but groups are trying to gear up and whatever. I said, you know, we could do a tour in the wintertime and go to each and every market that got brewing groups in their market. Too Shorts from the Bay, Hammers from the Bay, Mix-a-Lots from Seattle. You know, Luke is from down here. Yeah. The craziest thing ever is seeing Luke put the dancers on the S1W stands.
Oh my God.
Wait, talk about what? Luke had the dance. He had.
First of all,
because Luke been twerking since back then.
First of all,
so he had Luke Skywalker. That's Luke Skywalker.
First of all, big up to my bro Luther Campbell.
Not him twerking. You know what I'm trying to say.
Luther Campbell. Let me tell you, Luther Campbell was the first. I only stayed at two.
He had the chicks twerking on the security.
Before we get to that story, bring me back to that story.
Okay. Chicks twerking on the security.
Luther Campbell is the first celebrity house I ever stayed in my life. Down here in Miami.
Is this your groupie days?
This was in 1990. It was, that was.
You finger pop song.
That was more like, no. That was more like Luke's Commander groupie days. All right. So anyway,
I'm into this.
So listen. All right. So Luke, I was doing this DVD with him, right?
Luke's
VHS.
DVD?
No,
I've seen some of Luke DVD.
Before y'all twisted another way.
No, because Luke had Luke's party.
He was caught up in a political scale on America's Most Wanted. So we was part of America's Most Wanted of censorship.
Wait a minute. No, I didn't know America's Most Wanted.
Yeah, because remember,
on the show,
the law had, the law down here in Dade County had Luke up against the wall for censorship.
Yep.
Yeah, but I didn't know he was criminal.
So yeah, man.
Yeah, he did the song bad.
Really, like take your ass to jail.
Yeah, it was just simple.
No. In the South,
Luke,
that was you go to jail.
Luke moved so much music and cultural weight in the South. People like to say, "Oh man, Luke is booty," and that's it. No, Luke.
No, he did a lot.
Commanded the record industry because nobody wanted the South. Nobody wanted the South. It was like that bumpy ass. Keep that over there. Luke was the first celebrity house I ever stayed in because I did the thing that night and I was like, I'll go to the hotel. No, Luke said, stay at my house, and a white woman comes out with tea and shit like that. I was like, what the fuck,
That's how I imagine Luke house to be.
Imagine, I'm looking around, it was like damn near like British, right? On golf course, you know what I'm saying? I was like,
butler and shit.
Butler, golf course. I was like, what the fuck, right? But Luke was the first people we met down here down the street, right? At James L.
Knight Center.
James L. Knight Center, right? And he was upset about man, listen, I'm doing all this stuff down here and New York don't notice us at all. And me and Daddy O would be people like, come on in, because the Def Jam thing didn't leave you passes. And then the thing about Luke, I said, he's also the first private jet we ever been on.
Goddamn, make some noise for Luke.
Listen what I tell you. He ran pirate radio stations out of suitcases on top of roofs down here in Miami.
Yeah, that was the thing.
Let me tell you.
You knew this?
The pirate stations,
Listen.
Suitcases?
Listen.
I didn't know about a suitcase.
Luke promoted us in a stadium full of 50,000 with the old Miami Stadium with the Hurricanes and all them playing. The old Miami Stadium. 50,000 heads up in there, right? We got to play a show the same night at the Omni in Atlanta. Luke says, listen, man, you'll fly my private jet up there. I go up to the jet. I'm like, what the fuck, right? And it got the same logo that's on the record company, on the record label.
With the leg?
Yeah, I had to touch the plane like this. I touched it and roughed the plane. I was like, what? And we flew to Atlanta and headlined that same night at the Omni. They used to call it Omni back in the day. And we did 2 gigs in one day. And courtesy of Luke's private brown Luke Skywalker plane.
Yep.
Now, the only thing that stopped Luke was, once again, they saw him coming. Because he had a whole area that nobody wanted. Come on, rap, hip-hop in the South. Who the fuck wants Florida, Louisiana, Mississippi, Georgia, South Carolina, Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas?
And Luke
nobody want them bumpkin ass things. And Luke would put out a tape and rule. And then the companies wanted in. Later on, that was the blueprint for who?
But it
Master
didn't come
P.
to New York.
Master P, right?
Yeah, later on, it was a blueprint for Master P.
Oh, yes, that's true. That is true.
Yeah. Well, Luke got caught up with they came after him like, take the logo away, I think what's his name, George Lucas, and them was like, you can't use
he had to take away the Skywalker.
And I was like, oh fuck, and that type of shit happened, and then the law, and then the government, and all that other shit, and then that was an opportunity for Master P to come up in there, and still even Master P capitalized on all those territories nobody wanted, but by that time. Around Nori's 98, the companies was like,
wait a minute. Nori's 98, that's the name of my new album. If I ever make one.
In the 98.
Oh, yeah. In the 98,
right. Yo, man, companies tried to make what? Master P an offer, because they realized that, man, there's some gold in them Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Georgia, Alabama, Florida hills. And they tried to make him a deal, and Master P was doing so well. Remember you said like 500 ads in the Source?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He had his own record stores on the West.
They tried to make a deal with him, and he was like, yo, man, what the fuck? You got to come. And they said, you know what? We're gonna finance your competitor then. And that's when you start seeing Cash Money. They financed his competitor.
Shit getting real.
Wow.
And then surrounded it. You know, this is the same old, you know. And no disrespect to Cash Money, but that was the game that the majors would play to destroy black businesses.
That's right.
You know what's crazy? I'm gonna be honest with you. I went to New Orleans around that time where Master P was the shit. And I wanted to do a record with a dude, I think his name was Skullduggery. He eventually wound up being on Penalty Records.
Yeah.
And I remember me being in New Orleans and me identifying with the only other Puerto Rican person that was there. It was a girl, she had fronts on, and she was Puerto Rican. And I said, wait a minute. Well, I've never seen fronts at that time, because we, like New York, we had fronts, we didn't have what they have, whatever it was.
Grill.
That was a totally different, I was like, what is that in your mouth? Pause. And I remember this day, so perfect. I said, I'm out there. I'm out here to meet with what I want to meet with No Limit. I want to, and I remember her saying to me, "We on that Cash Money right now," and I was like, "What?" And I kid you not, it wasn't on the radio. It was nothing. It was like how you just said. They funded a totally different shit.
It was a fade like this.
Yes.
You know, we went from you know. It was like, wow, it's juvenile now.
I remember
you know?
it being pushed, and it was juvie. It was definitely juvie.
It was almost like one of those like, don't support this, support this on this label. And you know, I mean, that's, you know, I mean, like I said, money talks, God walks out of the room. Right. But what it does, and like it's the old game. It's the old game. It's like you can put black faces, you could pimp black faces, and you can put a black business out of business. But I think also that there's ways to go about certain things. I think numbers is the soul of a robot, and the human beings have a pulse that we need to understand that our mistakes are our mistakes, but bigger is not always better, and sometimes you can make better and keep it like this and be able to drive that small vehicle a long distance. Sometimes the big vehicles run out of gas.
Right, be the better version of yourself in a more compact situation.
And I think that's the beautiful thing about art, because it could be anything. And you could license the ill. That's why the dude that did Dilbert, his name's Scott Adams. I don't mean to be doing a reverse plug here, but he got caught in a scandal where he started coming off out the mouth to like stay away from black people and all that.
Oh yeah.
And I said, he had to license the ill as an artist.
Right,
if you just had Dilbert do all that, people would have gave a fuck. The minute you put your face on the camera and start talking to the mic, you out of your lane. Right. And you know what? You ain't nobody compared to your product. Yeah. Right. Your character is the one you should have spoke to. That's your license to ill. The minute you put your face on the camera, and that's everybody feels that. Not everybody's equipped. When the lights and the camera action comes on,
yes,
y'all see it. Sometimes you be like, they got to get loosened up, because they're like, yo, man, they want to fuck up.
Right.
Or where's the training in this? Somebody throw you 3 questions. Can you actually catch 3 questions and throw 4 back? And it's like, it's a game there, you know what I'm saying? Right. And it's an engagement there too. So it's not trained. So a lot of cats feel nervous, man. It's like, oh man, but the key is like, it's all right to say you don't know. And it's all right to be an owner of what you think, because you could be a slave to what you say. So be like, I don't fucking know. You got to move on with that. But a lot of these training courses could also do better with having artists have like 20-year careers, 30-year, 40-year careers. Those cats from Motown, man. I mean, you just had the Isley Brothers on.
Right.
Really, seriously. Ronald Isley sitting there. It's like, how do you start? It's like it's
incredible. And George Clinton.
And both of their wives look younger than us.
And George. Big up to Uncle George. Yeah, and that was a wonderful interview. Uncle George is like,
and he smoked all the weed too. Listen, I kept giving him weed. I thought he was going to say chill. He did not say chill.
Listen,
he said, "Did you chill?"
Yeah, don't follow that path of Unc, because yo man, Unc's done everything.
He's built differently.
Wait. Yeah, right. Unc's done things that we don't even know.
He said it. He said it, and we were shocked.
Yo,
I said, "Did you say this?" He said, "Yep."
Yo man, Unc's crazy. I was supposed to get to his crib, and we supposed to do some art together. Like, he said, come on down, Chuck, and do some art.
He did art on that wall. They painted over it.
Oh, he did?
I took pictures. Well, they keep changing the
it
wall.
changes every month. We had DMX, so like every couple of months,
But yeah, he just came in, they gave him a spray can, and he just started doing it.
He did, yeah.
Oh, we got it documented?
Yeah, we documented it.
Yeah, everybody's a screen agent, so that'll work.
Yeah. So I've been wanting to ask you this question, and I've been in rooms where I can ask you this. Where I can ask you this question. Where I can ask you this question, but this is.
Let me ask you a question. People come up here stumbling and they be fucked up and nervous?
Yes, they do. Yes, but this is one of my favorite songs of all times. But I've been in a situation where I could ask you this question, but I've never asked you. I want to know, did you really get a letter from the government?
Of course. Here's the story. It's documented. I remember, born in 1960.
Yes.
I'm at a grandparents' crib, South Ozone Park, 1967, June.
That's where my family's from, South Ozone Park. What the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. They moved there from Harlem in 1955.
Okay.
It's documented.
It's houses.
It's come to Queens from Harlem, white flight. Mm-hmm. Wherever black, you got to study black migration. Black migration is like, we can move there, but white people gonna move out. Back then especially. It's like, so, 1967, boom, June. I'm out of school. I'm going to, I'm in first, second grade, something like that, right? Mm-hmm. My grandparents also foster parents of the year, so there's always boys around, right? 12, 13 deep, it was amazing. Like, damn, they feeding 8 people at the same time, a big vat or whatever. So one of the boys, you call them our uncles or whatever, he just got out of high school, went to John Brown, right? Yeah.
What are you doing, Chuck? This is my whole childhood. Let me just say something real quick. By the way, I never went to high school, but when I was in DFY, I was in Spofford, and my mother came to see me, and I had just got accepted into John Brown High School. So if I didn't get locked up, I would have been in John Brown High School. So you're fucking up my whole childhood right now. Continue, Chuck.
It was there before you was born.
Yes, I know.
I hate to enlighten you on that one.
Sorry.
Rockaway Bullet was clear before we were born.
No, you built it for the story.
Anyway, sure enough, he just got out of high school.
Wow.
Dude, walk up the walkway. Fucking military dude. Da-da-da, John, da-da-da. Yeah. Uncle goes to the door. He fresh out of high school. They hand him a letter. Dude's like, the regalia, man, like U.S. Marine, man. Gives him that, walks right towards his car. They were going down to other houses, too. Uncle picks up letter, right? Because 7 years old, you like, what you like, get the fuck out, move. I'm like jumping up. And remember, I ain't 4, I ain't 2, I'm 7, right? Going on 8, you know what I'm saying? I got a little sense about me. I'm a Knick fan, right?
Hard being a Knick fan. Yeah.
Sure enough, he takes the letter, his face drops, and he's like, drops that fucking letter on the table and goes just to the fucking backyard. Me, I'm picking it up, and I can read a little bit, 7, so. Of course, I couldn't read the big words, but you have been drafted, United States Marines en route, through Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, en route to Southeast Asia, Vietnam.
Wow.
Drafted. End of your summer, dude, you got to be in Camp Lejeune in a week.
And this is before Ali made these statements, or this is after?
This is in that period.
In that same period.
In that same area. I mean, by 667, man, Dr. Martin Luther King makes a speech that kind of kicks everybody in the stomach, like, oh no, he's beyond having a dream. He's like saying, motherfuck the Vietnam War. But they was like tucking that to the back. We can't have the dreamer say this.
Yeah.
Even the government and the president was like, I thought MLK was my man.
Right.
Like, so that was going on.
There's no TikTok.
So, no TikTok.
Not only that was going on, you had Muhammad Ali, June 4th, 1967. That was going on with Muhammad Ali,
2 weeks
Jim
after.
Brown. Yeah. All of them was in.
That's the Black Coalition. I believe
that was
Will Chamberlain.
That was 68.
I got it. It's June 4th,
1967?
1967.
I stand corrected.
Bobby Mitchell. You had Bobby Mitchell. You had Jim Brown.
Lou Alcindor at the time was later Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
You had Bill Russell.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I said Will Chamberlain. My bad. It was Kareem.
Yeah, because at the same time, you know, the only ones that had a voice in a microphone, this was athletes.
Right.
But back in the day, it's like they give an athlete the mic and then pull it back. But Ali wasn't having that.
Yeah, he wasn't Herschel
Walker. Fuck that. I'm taking the mic, I'm rhyming, I'm praising Ali. All due to respect and praises to Allah. Who's Allah? You know, it's like, you know, every time they want to mess with black folks, they just I'm going to just fuck up your name. Like Farrakhan. I was like, the fuck is a Farrakhan? What are you doing? Like, oh yeah, you know, like Allah. So they found it. They found it. Allah. What the fuck? Who the fuck is Allah? What the fuck? It's like you have more. See, but you gotta be like Akeem Olajuwon. You have grace before I smack you. You know, so anyway. But anyway, yeah, he got that letter. He dropped it. I read that. I was like, yeah, no, he's fucked up. He's not going. He ain't gonna have a party this summer. And back then, you know, Motown's popping. Like, you know, like 4 times shake me, wake me till it's over. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
7 rooms of gloom. You know, Motown. Let's get it popping. You know what I'm saying? Nope. He's going to Vietnam.
In the Marine Corps at that.
Yep. And that's where that story came from.
Wow.
And the fact is that he and a couple other uncles came back. They got shrapnel. A couple of them came back. You know. And they used to come back with these Purple Hearts. And me and my brother used to put them on the G.I. Joes because they didn't give a fuck about the goddamn Purple Heart.
Yeah.
This is why
my dad gave me his, he didn't care.
But this is why a lot of cats was fucked up, man. A lot of cats was fucked up in 1969, 70, 71, man. 70 to 73. Because we got to go back and forth to cousins and relatives in the city all the fucking time, man. And going back to the Bronx, man, it was tough, man, because cats is like, they back from Vietnam, cats is shooting up in their arms, man. And the thing that steered me away from drugs, man, was like, I could look at them and cats is shooting in their arms. I don't fuck. I mean, the whole, you know, that they destroyed the Bronx too.
Yeah.
And they destroyed the Bronx and said, yeah, black in Puerto Rico, y'all lived here, fuck that, you know? We ain't never gonna service it and fuck it. Y'all gonna die there.
It looked like a war zone.
Yeah, it was a war zone. And this is why
they literally called it the burnt down Bronx at that time.
Yeah. And this is where we're back into, you know, where we did the documentary. I had to mention that and big up to Laurie Buller, my managing partner on it, and Kevin A in the house, you know, and Dominique. Listen, the BBC PBS series, Fight the Power. Big up to Isley Brothers for sparking that whole thought. How hip-hop changed the world, the important word is the world. But out of that seed, out of the Bronx, it was disenfranchised, left for dead. Out of that seed of, you know, it rose like a rose up out of the ashes like a phoenix. It was like people that had to do something. And big up to the Grandmaster Kaz, man. Big up to the Grandmaster Flash, Bambaataa, Kool Herc, you know, all the cats in the beginning, man, that just made something out of nothing, man. You know? And I won't call it nothing, but it was left for dead.
Right.
And we have to, also, the key thing is this. We can never ignore the context of time. Time has its context. A lot of things, we in the fast forward, go on and check it out on YouTube, check it through the screen. The reasons why books stand up, because books appear on your own time.
Yep.
Like, I don't understand this shit. Well, take your time and fucking slow it down till you can comprehend
context,
it.
right.
Whenever you read through a phone, a digital, man, it could appear and disappear. How many cats you know always got by 3-card money? Now you see it, no, now you don't. Underneath the clam and the crab. You know, cats is like, that's what social media is.
Right.
I got you. What you thought you saw, you probably didn't see, man. Right. You think, you thought you saw it, right? Maybe you did. Maybe I'll give you something else instead. Like, oh yeah, and they got you shaking to the lights. Oh my God, you know, like that. Digital appears and disappears at somebody else's behest. Now, we're in a time where people are attacked and attached to their gadgets, and I make no slander, I give no slander on scholars or scholarship. You know why? If we want to read, right, what's the deal? We read what we like to read. We're not fucking around with shit we don't want what we don't want to read.
Right.
Scholars read every fucking thing. They mostly read the fucking bad and the ugly. And they read the good. and they process it. That's why you can't have a debate with a scholar, because a scholar read the pro, con, and the middle side to come up with
understand the perspective.
Right, so the only thing you can do is like, yo, motherfucker, I can't fuck with you, you know what I'm saying? Say that. Because, like, even in sports, it's based on a fact. It's not really based on opinion. When we start talking about the arts, we kind of get into the world of taste. What makes you like this taste and that taste versus
whatever? This is the best champagne in the world.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
And if somebody threw you if somebody threw you some cheap shit that hurt you in the fucking morning,
I cannot do that.
Right. So they didn't go.
I don't have mimosas.
So taste is an important thing when it comes down to the art. But also, we should have a broad vision of what art is before we grade what art should be. You know what I'm saying? But it's a custom taste, you know? And scholarship, when people have a debate about a lot of different things, man, I think we should hold scholars in high regard, man. Because like I said, they spending most of their time reading that bullshit.
Right. They don't want to read.
And that they don't want to read. Yeah. And the thing about the speed of inaccurate bullshit out there is beyond what the human mind can fucking catch. Because, I mean, this shit, the speed of what shit comes through your phones and the new, and understand this, in culture, in hip-hop, every generation is 5 years.
That's right, he said it. But Mr. Chuck, we like to praise you and give you your flowers to your face.
Oh, man, I don't want flowers, man.
Yes, no, we giving it to you.
Right, hold on.
If anything, I
want you to know.
Flowers.
Listen, I want you to know how.
These are flowers.
Okay, flowers. I like that.
Flowers, yeah. Well, I got
Snoop
a bunch
Dogg
of
said
shit.
it's like a Grammy. Snoop Dogg said it's like a Grammy.
Is my daughter gonna jack this from you?
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
She's robbing me all the way up.
Yeah, because we want you to really understand.
Oh man, this is special.
We want you to understand how important you are to the culture, to us.
To us, yeah.
To the world. You are a teacher. You are our scholar. How about that?
Wow, man.
Fuck those other scholars.
This is nice. Wow.
Fuck them.
Yeah, man. I mean,
listen, and you said it earlier. You said you ain't going to church or whatever. But
no, I didn't say I ain't going to church.
If you were to open up a church, if you were to open up a church, I bet me and EFM would be the first two people to sign up.
Oh, hell.
Well, actually, hold up, because we need to talk about the Hip Hop Union.
Yes,
because that is the first thing we need to sign up to.
You're not kicking me out already.
No. We getting drunk around. No. We getting drunk. Let's make sure. You ain't got a drink. Yeah. Make sure she's good. Make sure she's good. She have a drink.
There's bathroom breaks and
you can do whatever the fuck you want.
If you see me get up, no disrespect.
Let me go back to the Fight the Power thing.
Yes.
When y'all had the first influence, the reason when Fight the Power, we were commissioned to do that song.
Really?
For Spike Lee. Yeah, because a lot of times, like, yo, what's crazy? What's crazy? Last year with the Elvis movie, man, it was like Elvis trolls everywhere, man. So cats was coming at me like, yo, Chuck, man, looking at me sidewise like, why the fuck you do that to Elvis?
Elvis
so like,
was a hero of the most.
Screen Agent, right?
Yeah.
Screen Agent. So you saw a movie. Got all sensitized and shit. Now you coming at me. But I said, number one.
Because the line was Elvis. What was the line?
Elvis was a hero of the most. But he never meant shit to me. Now listen. I'm commissioned. Listen. I'm commissioned to do a song for Do the Right Thing.
Right.
What's the key area in Do the Right Thing that's jump shit off? My man Giancarlo Esposito.
Radio Raheem, right?
No. There's a theme before that.
Okay.
Giancarlo Esposito says, yo, Sal, how come ain't no black people on the wall?
Right.
The whole fucking movie's about that. You got a company, you got a business in a changing black neighborhood, and you ain't got no black people on the wall. And Sal was like, yo, man, it ain't gonna change. That's the whole fucking theme. I gotta write a song for the theme of the fucking movie. That third verse basically is saying, I'm scraping them fucking heroes off the goddamn wall.
Right.
Cats be coming at me like, oh, I didn't know that Fight the Power was in a movie. What the fuck? Don't debate with me. Yeah. Don't debate with me about one thing I know. One thing I know is my shit. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna know me better than me.
Shit,
You know what I'm
yes.
saying? You might know verses and shit like that I forgot because I'm not good on memory.
Right.
One thing I'm on memory on, but that's just another thing about me. I think if I had a good memory, like for bars and shit like that, like fucking Kane and Ice-T could say shit from 50 years ago. I think my head's too full with shit. So I never had writer's block.
Right.
I can't remember shit, man. It took me like 8 years to remember one fucking verse.
Whoa.
But if I did have a fucking memory, I'd be the greatest motherfucker of all time. But you know, I'm up in the hundreds, so I'm all right. But if I don't have a good memory. But as far as facts and picture memory of the events, it's just crystal fucking clear.
So the Elvis haters was coming at you.
Yo, they were coming at me like, yo, I saw the movie, man, and I'm all fucking butthurt. I'm like, the fuck, man?
Okay, so what happens in this movie? I don't understand.
No, they're just saying it made them like Elvis, the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And me, I'm a music historian.
Okay.
Yes, Elvis had attributes.
I've seen you give props to Elvis in times.
Badass white boy, right? Whatever. But at the same time, I'm talking about, I was 60s and the 70s. We were drunk on Elvis. And all you got to do is look for black people. Look up black people in commercials in the 60s and the 70s. And how many, it's like society happened and we wasn't a part of that motherfucker at all. We was always part of the news. It's like so-and-so got arrested and thrown in the squad car, right? Always a part of the fucking first 10 minutes of the news. We in that motherfucker. And then you'll see black people at the end of the news, not even in the weather. You know what I'm saying? No commercials. Maybe on the ball field and shit like that. They wasn't giving them the mic. They were afraid of Ali. You know what I'm saying? Dave Parker, people like Reggie Jackson. I remember Reggie Jackson first comes to New York is like, he's a problem because he talks too fucking much. Well, you keep asking him questions. This shit was like, you know, effing Nori. Can I tell you how much as a growing black young man, I was insulted by society?
Yeah.
I was fucking insulted. But you know what I said? It was my advantage.
Right.
You keep thinking I'm a dumb motherfucker, man. Really, seriously? And that's why when hip-hop came about, and I heard people like Starsky, I heard Melly Mel, man. I thought, yo, man, he dropped from God, man. I said, I never heard nobody.
The Message?
Melly Mel before records, man.
Oh, wow.
Yo, Melly Mel and Flash, the Furious 2, 3 MCs, and Raheem, and yo, man, I was like, I mean, he's the first MC, and this is the Melly Mel moment, right?
I'm about to give you
because there's a bunch of Mel stories up in here, but I'm gonna truncate. And truncate means condense, compress.
I didn't know that, but for some reason I
moved that in.
He assumed it.
I assumed it.
Yo, Melly Mel, man. I used to like how rap was before records, keep the party moving. I like to be broadcasted. So Marv Albert was very much a hero because the way I used to hear how he broadcast, not just
you say Marv Albert.
Marv Albert,
the Knicks announcer.
Marv Albert,
the nigga that be biting bitches. He be biting.
He would be like, I mean, he would throw style in there.
He be biting impressions. That's what I heard.
But he would, he'd throw style in there, his vernacular, and just a flow. He had a flow because you got a flow when you announce basketball games, man.
Yep.
And I was like, I wanted to become a sportscaster, but then hip hop came, and I said, damn, that's sort of like the same shit. So I used to go down to the parks and just kind of like be on the sideline just talking shit, right? And Pats was like, all right, boom. And then hip hop came. I'm like, wow. So I would go to events, man, and everybody just thought they could rhyme in 79 and 78 for some reason.
They were trash.
Yeah, because you try to get your dance on.
Yeah. Okay.
And the worst thing is somebody on the turntables that can't fucking DJ, and somebody on the mic that can't MC. And MC mean that you had to rhyme, maybe you had to move the crowd, make an announcement at the door or some shit, but move that shit, you move your car, whatever. You had to MC, you had to keep that party going like that.
You had to have that swag.
So a couple places I would go, man, especially at the colleges, man, and I'll be like, you know what, man, I'm gonna get on the mic to sit these motherfucking whack motherfuckers down so they don't stop fucking my dance shit up. And that's when Hank saw me at one of the colleges and said, yo, man, we need an MC. I'm like, I just want to go to the parties and do the flyers, man. I don't want to fucking... And then that became a whole nother thing, man. So that's what got me jumped off. But the first MC that I ever heard on the mic in live and living color that really fucking blew me away...
Kumo D.
No, Melly Mel.
Melly Mel.
Yo, man, Melly Mel's first... When he became a recording artist...
Yeah.
I call Melly Mel Wilt Chamberlain because between Melly Mel and the second dude, and you could say it's Kaz or Modi or whatever, Melly Mel was like Wilt Chamberlain, man, 50 points a game, 100-point game. It's like, he up here in the second, in the third, the fourth, and fifth is down there. He had the longest, the widest gap, or the best and the next best, to me, my personal opinion, ever. And then he had a dude on the turntables that was just fucking Melly Mel and Flash.
You see,
Are you
Melly
fucking
Mel,
kidding me?
Recently, Melly Mel just went viral because he said that he believes that Eminem wouldn't be that great because he. I don't want to misquote.
Because I think he's white, yeah.
He's white.
And he said Kendrick doesn't resonate with people or something like that.
10 generations in hip hop and rap. Every generation got its thing. In Melly Mel's generation, I think there was no gap. The gap was so far between him and the next cat. Modi will admit that and shit. It's like, what the fuck? I was the second, and fucking Mel is on a mountain. But Eminem and Black Thought, big up the Black Thought and the Roots, and also Eminem, cyborgs, man. They cyborgs and compute. But let me tell you this: we can also get caught up because you got future generations, and then you got people who ain't gonna even get on the register who is so dope. Like Sky Zoo is so dope.
Sky
You got the Mind of Saint out right now. Sky Zoo is so dope, but it's just like so many, there's a trillion MCs out there, so cats is going into their style. But here's where we could get a little USA arrogant. And let me tell you, and they confuse arrogance, what you was talking about earlier, the confusion of arrogance and confidence and swag and audacity and moxie and all that shit. For a long period of time, wherever you at in the world, when a New Yorker walks in the room, do you feel it?
They said we were cocky. We just had confidence.
Wherever you go on the planet Earth, when a New Yorker walk in the room and you ain't from New York, you be like, oh, here he come with that New York shit.
But we don't mean it. That's what's fucked up about it. We don't actually mean it. No, we don't mean it. We don't. It's just a certain confidence. I love that.
I love you like, I don't mean it, but I mean it.
But let me give you some relevancy. Because USAers make the same arrogant move to the rest of the world.
You're right.
That's right.
They can smell if you come from the USA. And in fact, number one, if you call themselves Americans, like nobody else can.
Like if there's no other
Canadians are
country,
Americans.
there's no other country in the Americas.
Central America, Caribbean America, South America. So Bolivia's not American too? Nah, that don't count because we really the fucking Americans. That's the same motherfucking
And expecting everybody to speak English.
Expect everybody speaking.
They're like, they don't speak English. They're like, nah, you're another country.
Meanwhile, the British is saying, all y'all getting the fucking shit wrong.
Right? I'll tell you the funny. I'm sorry to cut you off, but listen.
This is your show,
shit. No. I'll tell you the funniest shit. Excuse me. Whenever I see somebody who's like racist a little bit, I always say to them, we should go to Europe together. Because in Europe, we're all Americans. They hate us equally. Like the only time I've ever been, and this is real shit, the only time I ever felt like America was accepted, I'm gonna be honest with you. This is when Obama was in office. When Obama was in office, it was like, America, you guys are pretty cool. But then when Trump got back in office, it was like,
oh yeah. When Trump was in office, that was the end of whatever was left of the black card that we used to get going around the world.
That was it.
We traveled the world. Listen, man, our first tour, we traveling. Let me tell you, travels. I got 50 books in me, only put out 10. I got 40 to go. I got to figure this one out anyway, because I got stories. Listen, we playing in Germany, West Germany at the time.
Not Dusseldorf.
No, that's West Germany. We're playing in West Germany. But we traveling on the bus and we got to play Berlin.
I love Berlin.
Now listen, you love postmodern Berlin.
This is back in the day.
Yeah, what year is this? This is before the wall?
87.
East Berlin.
Before the wall comes down.
Right.
Now, in order to get from the line at the end of West Germany, you got to take this one motherfucking road to West Berlin, which is in the middle of East Germany, but it's split into two areas. So the minute you get to the fucking line, be that shit 4 o'clock in the morning, they waking your ass up with dogs and flashlights.
Oh no.
Machine guns.
And machine guns in your fucking face. And what do? You know, I was like, concert music, black people, they're like, get your ass, every single one of your asses off the bus in the middle of 3 o'clock in the morning in skivvies, man, and we're gonna look in your eyes and see if you line up with the passport to take this one-ass road to West Berlin.
Wow.
And don't stray to get off this motherfucking road.
Wow.
You go to West Berlin.
Wow.
And you see a wall, barbed wire, and dividing the city in half.
Yeah. I performed in West Berlin one time next to a Nazi club. I went outside to smoke a cigarette by an idiot that I was, and you ever feel somebody looking at you and you know they looking at you? And I turned and I was smoking a cigarette, and every one of these guys had the
swastika.
And what year was that? Those were like what?
99.
Okay, so that was 10 years after the war.
Yes. Okay,
and
cool.
So it was fully integrated. But the thing about it, everybody from the East Berlin side, the former Steel Curtain, the Soviet, well, as they call communist, socialist side, you know, were like, okay, listen. We supposed to be one Germany now, but I ain't got no fucking leg up. You know, y'all from West Germany got money in the bank. We got like a drive a taxi cab for 500 years to be able to get an apartment. So you had a lot of that shit going on with it. So you damn right. Nazis was like, you know what? We're not going to be loud about this shit, but we need to bring Germany back. Make Germany great again. Right?
Damn, they've been making Germany great. Okay.
So back then, it's like, we got fans on the other side of the Berlin Wall that want to come to the gig.
Oh, wow.
But at the wall, the motherfuckers like, you fucking get a bad case of the deads. Right. You know what I'm saying? All that fight the power shit fucking stops right here. Right. And this is what I'm saying. Wherever you go, you can't be like wearing this like, oh yeah, I'm American. It's like, what part of America? You a USAer. Right. So we got to kind of like tone down. And once upon a time, we did have a black card. Because we had a black card because people recognize our struggle. Oh yeah, Martin Luther King, they killed Malcolm X. Y'all motherfuckers are rebels, you know, you're invited in here. Then later on, when President Obama, and I call him President, I don't call him Barack like people think they know him by name. Right. Man. What the fuck, you know? President Obama came in, I knew that, shit, man, all right, he's president. Half of that black card's gonna disappear because now he's the president of the United States. He ain't gonna be the president of black people. He's the president of the United States. What does that do for you, Chuck? You get a chance to buy some time. 4 years, we get a chance to buy the time to go to where we gotta go in the world, connect with our people. The diaspora is very important. The diaspora is black, brown people around the world. You know, it really is the human race, but we gotta say black folks around the world, where it's like, okay, population, it's what, 13 to 15%. I don't ever know what the 2% means. Black people in the United States of America, right? What does that mean? You outnumbered. So you gotta connect with the guys. You can't have no differences. Sometimes you might have to say, you know what, I gotta get an idea from this cat that's in Swaziland. And I got to connect with this guy. We got gadgets. We got computers that are able to send better computers than they had when they sent something to the moon. And I ain't going to get into that conspiracy theory either.
We don't know if they really
but whatever. I'm not even getting into that. Because I be having conversations with people that think they've been there. I'm like, you were born in 1981? What the fuck?
They said Kubrick was the director. They said that he did the landing.
The green screen. They said that was the first version of green screen.
Hey, the motto of me, I believe, you know, my motto, I believe everything and nothing the fuck at all.
You believe everything?
Everything and nothing the fuck at all.
I love this model.
As it rolls, I gotta like evaluate it, sit with it a while, sit it to the side, like, you know, I'll get back to that later, man. I'm not gonna tell you what I believe or not believe. I gotta do some evaluation before your ass try to tell me what it is. So, I mean, the point that I'm saying is that you know, in this way to go around the world, I just think that we could be more aware. I mean, there's places in the world, seriously, where we played, we played Taiwan, where they say
Taiwan.
Hey, Taiwan.
Well, shit, you didn't see that shit? You see that shit that they said on the wall when you hit the airport?
No.
Anything bought in this country, penalty is death.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't fuck around a lot of
shit. I didn't read that.
They kept my ass in the airport. I had a sword that we used on the stage. And
they
rolled
just gonna
down
let
the
that
road and left me Like, where's James? Them little dudes had me in the corner and says, you cannot bring this in our country.
Did they have a smile on their face?
None of them had a smile. They had machine guns, little dudes.
Penalty is death. And then,
I went to Singapore. I went to Singapore, and when I landed,
You can't speak. You can't spit.
No. When I landed in Singapore, they put me to the back. I thought I had a kilo of cocaine. You know what they pulled me over for?
What?
Cigarettes. It's illegal to buy cigarettes if it's not from Singapore.
I think that's where they lashed. There was an American kid, I think in the 90s, that they gave lashes to for doing graffiti.
Right.
well, let me tell you this.
You spit, you go to jail.
Let me tell you this. Know the law, know everything about the law that you go, and know exactly, just know that, understand that, man, there's 220 countries on this planet, or 222, that James just recently said. I thought it was 214. The place is split into different factions and shit. Know it. I was playing in Jakarta with Prophets of Rage. Big up the Prophets of Rage. Yo, man, they were like, listen, play your songs, do not speak to the audience. We're gonna tell you once. They didn't say it again, right?
I'm sorry, I'm mad confused.
Play your songs.
Play the song, but don't speak to the audience.
Don't say shit to the audience.
Right.
Now, here's another thing,
So
right?
how do you do this? You just...
You play your songs.
You can't say throw your hands in the air? That's talking to the audience?
No. Stop the song. By the way, I think that you... No,
Okay.
none of that.
You can't be like, yo, homegirl in the purple, you look good. That's like...
You towing the line. I mean, we played in Beijing back in the day. Listen, we played in places where they was
I thought
seriously...
Beijing was just for your shit.
What Beijing was?
I'm fucking with you.
I got lost without F in there. After you said that, I was looking for him. I was like, oh.
By the way, he been trying to correct you all day. His name is DJ EFN. You just his hero. You just a Mike Tyson thing. He just looking at. He's like, I'm not correcting Jock.
But on my drop, he said it's DJ EFN.
No, he said EFN. No, I promise you. I promise you. He loves you. He loves you. Listen. By the way,
is he crying in the bathroom?
No.
I don't know. I'll be. Let's go come up with some funny edit. I'll be fucked up trying to. Oh yeah, by the way, EFN. It's like, what the fuck? Y'all did it on 2 different days. It's like, what?
I promise you.
What the fuck?
Nah, man,
I'm so sorry, man.
That's all good.
Now, another apology goes to Crazy. Y'all had Crazy Legs on, right?
Yes, Crazy Legs.
And big ups to the Crazy Legs. One of my heroes. Look, man. He said I don't pick up his phone, right? Every year he would ask me to come to Rocksteady. We was on tour. Every fucking year. And I was like, bro, I'm sorry. And it would be around July, which would go into my birthday. And it was like, damn, man. Every year. And every year was on. I didn't even show up to Ice Cube's Big 3. Because every year he would have a July and August. And that's why I said finally when the locomotive slowed down, I was like, now I'm able to see places on my own time, man. It's like, but yeah, big, apologies. And yeah, I mean, I don't pick up a phone. I mean, I'll be looking at a phone, I'm like, I'm never answering this motherfucker, ever. So you gotta text me and I could give you a whatever back, but it's just what it is, man. We circle, man. It's like, you know how it is.
Now, you know what's crazy? I was hearing you say that. What I just thought was I'm now revisiting places that I've been to for performance. Like I've been to Hawaii so many times, Honolulu, but I went there for business.
Oh, DJ
This one's my hand.
So
big up the F. He did all right that first half of the show.
But it was crazy because I revisit places now that I've only been to for work, right? So like, it's so many places like Hawaii, or so many.
You find it's different when somebody pays you to go to a place.
Because you know what's crazy?
Listen, they pay you to come there. Yes. So now somebody said, "Could you come here and actually pay the fucking flight?"
And it's a totally different thing because I remember me actually hating Paris. Like, I'm sorry for people that live in Paris. I'm sorry. Y'all didn't wear deodorant at first.
Your owner at first. Listen, your owner to what you think.
So at first, I used to go to Paris and I used to be like, I don't want to be here. No Eiffel Tower. Nothing attracted me, right? I met my wife, God bless her. My wife said, motherfucker, you getting out this hotel room and we're gonna motherfucking go, we're gonna eat the
Do some
bread.
tourist shit.
We eat the bread. I fucking rode a bicycle. I felt fucking retarded. But I was like, oh, okay, this is culture. Like, this is what we're supposed to do. And I didn't know that. Being from New York, we want to keep our Timberlands on. We want to keep our Timberlands on in the ocean. We don't break. And it was the first time my wife just was actually showing me that, listen, culture, this is what you kind of do. But I took all of this for granted.
But you from New York, see, how much culture is in New York that have you visited?
Nothing. I've never been to the Statue of Liberty.
A lot of New Yorkers, when you tell them, like, listen, there's so much in New York.
Right.
You really kind of ain't got to go nowhere else, but you got to go to New York. You know?
You've been to my studio. I've had a 32nd and Madison. I had a studio across the street from, down the block from Empire State Building. I've never had the urge to walk in the Empire State Building.
Your whole life, right?
My whole life.
Meanwhile, people in another country are dying.
You know what's crazy? This was crazy. When you go to Europe, right, and you speak to someone from Europe, right, they always say, because the States, by the way, stop calling us the States, fucking assholes, right?
It is the States.
But that's more accurate than us saying American.
Really. But here's it. If you ever speak to someone from Europe, they say, yeah, because you know, in the States, it'd be like that. And I'll be looking at them, I'll be like, okay, so which state have you been to? And then, no disrespect to Seattle, but then they'll say something like, oh, I've visited Seattle. And they went to Seattle for 2 days and they based the whole America off of they visit from Seattle, and I'd be so happy to crush their dreams. And to say, you've never been to America, sir. You've been to Tacoma.
But you're cultured in style. The first thing you said, Dusseldorf, but to play Germany, you play 8 different places because you've also employed.
I've been to Hamburg, Frankfurt,
they're pulling you
Berlin,
to each place.
Dusseldorf.
But the average person is going to go to one city on the trip. I'm going to go to Hamburg and come the fuck back.
But you can't judge Germany off of Hamburg.
Exactly.
You gotta.
But that's why artists have the window to teach the world
to those. Name hamburger.
To those, you know?
Is Hamburg.
Hamburg, yes.
And Frankfurt.
And I've been to Frankfurt.
And Frankfurt, yeah.
And I didn't eat a hamburger or a Frankfurt up there. I just did.
That's the license that artists have. It's like, you know, give us your time and we'll give you the world.
Right.
But you know, sometimes when it comes out, I want to give you a black side of the world, but everything about us is fucked up. It's like, yo, come on, really? It's like we ain't got we can't even say the word beautiful. Right. That was the thing about Kendrick Lamar. He used a beautiful in his vernacular. Yep. You know, Kanye has done things like that make you say, wow, that's just beautiful.
Right here. Same chair. You said
people ask me about Kanye, I'm like, I said this for years. I say, well, he started his own religion, and the dude is like Salvador Dali.
Oh shit, that's a good.
But if you don't know Salvador Dali, it's like once again. I mean, I've said bars and lyrics that I said, you ain't gonna catch up to this shit until you become cultured. It's like, but I'm not trying to educate you at 14. That's somebody who's 20 that you love is got to do that job. Me, I'm like, you know, like me and we sexagenarians, man. That's our official title. You know, you're in your 60s, man. So you should talk about things.
We call
that's in that area.
Earthicans.
Yeah, Earthicans.
Earthicans.
It's a beautiful thing, man. The world is beautiful, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, nature will destroy so much shit. That's the fucking ugly aspect of it too.
Right.
You can spend your time on the Weather Channel, always talk about the next disaster, but you're giving me a sunny day some goddamn time. Everybody just can't do that. So it's a hip hop is such a beautiful art form. So back to that early, the Hip Hop Alliance.
Please, yes.
Which is hip hop's first union. Because I heard that, you know, that you guys also mentioned that.
We tried to start it ourselves.
We were talking about it early on, but I'm sure you've been doing it and working on it for years.
The Godfather, big up Curtis Blow, who seriously has the longest timeline of anybody in recorded hip-hop history. He signed the first major record contract in 1979.
Wow.
Matter of fact, I think even in 79, they went to look and scout, they tried to sign Eddie Chiba or some of the other stalwarts, and they end up saying Curtis Blow is the perfect person. And by no surprise, and ain't no accident, you had what? Christmas Rapper, out in 1979.
He was doing Blow as Curtis Blow.
Yeah, and Curtis Blow, and then you had the breaks. So and then by no surprise, when cats at first doing records, they were the best that did it because nobody else was doing it at that level. It's no surprise that Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five recorded, first for Brasilia in October. Then they did Enjoy with Bobby Robinson's label, Super Rapping, because them dudes were super rapping. I mean, Melly Mel, Kid Creole, and also Free Kid Creole, please. But that's why we had the Hip Hop Alliance. Well, Kid Creole.
He better be.
You had Raheem, Mr. Ness, a.k.a. Scorpio, and Keith Cowboy, who invented the term hip hop as far as a recording.
That's what Grandmaster Cass said on his.
Told the story,
Hip
hop. I mean, and each one of them MCs were blazing. And you put them together and make 5 MCs sound like one with Grandmaster Flash. What? It's like, by no mistake, they was like, you got to do records. So big ol' ups to Sugar Hill Gang because they the first. And really, it's debatable because King Tim III was playing with Fatback Band with, King Tim III. Right. Which was, Fatback Band was one of my favorite groups. So when they came out, I heard them on WKTU in July of 1979. Right. I was like, damn, he rapping. And that's something, whoa. But when Sugar Hill came out, the thing that put Sugar Hill over the edge, they rapped on Good Times. And my God, there's never, ever, ever, ever been a track monumental to hip-hop and rap music like Good Times. 1979, man, the summer of 1979, hip-hop was so crazy with Good Times because it was like, what? It's from Chic. And everybody.
Good Times show?
No, the song.
Good Times, a record.
Okay, the record. Okay.
By Chic with the group.
Okay.
And they were like, what? They got coined disco because they made the greatest
disco
records
era.
that happened to play in the disco.
Okay.
Like what? Freak Out!
Yeah.
Before that, Everybody Dance. So they was like, they got kind of like coined as a disco band, but they was just a badass motherfucking band.
Right.
And so when they came out with Good Times in '79, I remember being at a party, and they said, this new record by Eddie Cheever broke it, right? He came out to Long Island. He said, Eddie, got this new record by Chic, and everybody was expecting like the music be up tempo like that. They played Good Times and that shit started like, and we were like, what the fuck is this country slow shit, right?
Right.
He played it 2 more times that night. It's like, okay, she just slowed the tempo down to some country funk, whatever. Right. But man, in 2 weeks, DJs got a hold of that motherfucker. And down to the blink, gang, Good Times, boom, boom. And that, man, I'm telling you, you can't even describe how hip-hop was in June, July, and August of 1979. There is no explanation for it. And there's one tape that's going around. I call it the greatest hip-hop night ever. It was October 1979. It's out there on YouTube. I've played it on my radio show a bunch of times. Big up to everybody at Rap Station. Yo, man, it's Starsky on the turntables, DJ Hollywood, it's Eddie Cheever, it is DJ Divine from Infinity Machine, it's Grandmaster Flash, Curtis Blow, and Melly Mel. And they are like, yo, man, you couldn't take your eyes or your ears off of them. But it was inconceivable that somebody would make a rap record. Because even me, I was like, rap record? How the fuck you gonna put rap on a record? It's a 3-hour thing, man. It's like,
it's an event.
I was like, it's impossible.
Right.
I was like, impossible. Right. And I ain't no kid. I'm 19 years old. I'm like, it's impossible to make a rap. How the fuck? And then when King Tim III came out, he was like, okay. And then when Sugar Hill did it, it was like, yo, that's it. And the thing about it, bro, that shit was 16 minutes long.
Yeah.
The ironic thing is why you always got to put time in the context. The 16 minutes was not how long it was, it's how short they got it.
That's a short.
Right, because it was emulating what was happening.
How the fuck? Right. They got it down to 16 minutes. I'm gonna tell you that this I've said this a few times. I was at college getting on the mic to sit whack MCs down. They play Good Times. I'm rocking the fuck out of Good Times, right? All of a sudden I hear words behind me. DJ's Larry T. Words behind me. So what do you think I did? I did the fucking Milli Vanilli. I kept moving my mouth. And and I was rocking for fucking 20 minutes. I remember I was rocking Good Times for 4. So sure enough, man, people were like, damn, he's changing his voice. Even the chicken tastes like wood. All that shit, right? At the end, cats is coming up to me like, yo, she's a bad motherfucker. Like, yo, he's just rhymed on and on. Because back then, it's like, he went on and on, you know, to the break of dawn. Like hot butter on the popcorn, right? Mm-hmm. I'm with like nonstop rhyme.
Right.
I turned around after people like left. I looked at this. I said, what the fuck? But what's that? He showed me. Red Label. Rappers Delight. Sugar Hill Gang. I was like, what?
Wow.
I was my brains were blown. Mm-hmm. The next day, WBLS. This is Frankie Crocker, and I got a new record by my friend Sylvia Robinson. This is called Rappers Delight by the Sugar Hill Gang.
You heard it.
Yo, the city was on fire.
Wow.
City was on fire. By the next Thursday when I did the thing, Cass was like, you nice, Chuck, but come on, man. That's how long I've been riding. I've been riding with this shit. They sneak a record behind me and got words on it. I was like, fuck, oh, man. But let me tell you, man, I can't weigh the magnitude of hip-hop before records, man, and that record, Good Times. Good Times was just...
I can't imagine it.
It blew.
It changed everything.
To this day, thinking about, that's what I'm saying, the context of time is everything because you can't go back into time. The same thing about like when Melly Mel might say, I could get any rapper. well, the thing about you got to hold the context of time, and time is real.
Yes.
Like if you say, well, Melly Mel, let's say if he wants to take on, well, exactly. I mean, that's
Melly
another
Mel
story
like
I could say.
That's it.
Right.
But
I respect it.
All you got to do is say, well, Melly Mel, if he was 19 in 1979 and you wasn't born yet, then you couldn't compete. That's why when they say boxers, like, we put Tyson against Ali, I say, well, where do we start? Do we say when Ali is 70-something and Tyson is 30? Or do we do when Ali was 20 and Tyson wasn't born yet? He was a zygote and shit, embryo? I mean, what are we comparing? Oh, you trying to move time to make you cannot compare eras. You cannot move time. We don't have
too much changes in that time.
The construct, we could dream up some shit, like, well, so-and-so in his prime versus so-and-so in their prime. Well, how you gonna know what the prime is? And so it's art. It's fun to do these things. It's fun to make lists and shit like that. Everybody, oh man, Rolling Stone made a list.
Let me ask you a list. Do you think Flavor Flav is Boosie's pops?
We always come up with questions of what we think flavor.
He said,
it has to do with time.
I felt it, but then when I see them together, I was like, maybe this is not as funny as I think. Because they kind of really do. And I love Boosie. I love you, Boosie, wherever you at. I love Flavor Flav.
But my good brother Nori, when you study the diaspora, you know that many of us got twins and triplets everywhere. Matter of fact, when we first played Ghana, they wouldn't let Flavor leave.
He had that many kids out there?
No. We don't believe that you're not from here.
Yeah, like they thought he was there.
You're not leaving, right? We had to show 8 people. I'm not from there. I'm somewhere else. So
they think he's from Ghana too. Sonny.
You from? Yeah.
No, he from Haiti.
Oh, you from Haiti?
He from Haiti, but they don't accept him in Haiti neither.
There, right?
They don't want him in Haiti neither.
Big up to Haiti.
They kick him out of Haiti.
But guys, the Hip Hop Alliance, man, we need the Hip Hop.
The whole world's still mad at Haiti.
Right,
yeah.
It's a big up to Haiti. Anyway, the Hip Hop Alliance, the chairman KRS-One, up in the brass is MC Light. Curtis Blow founded it. Asked could I be down, but it's not. It's special ed is part, but it's not about like who's at the top. It's like the more, the better, and you have to have people who are concerned about the infrastructure of artists who've been in the business a long time, never understood. Okay, I recorded 15 years ago, 20 years ago, like, what does that mean? They got their kids growing up that have no idea what their dad even did. Or better yet, like, it's a legacy to be passed down. How do we go after it? Who do we go to? My dad did bars, but what does that mean? There's something for everybody. Trust me, if you don't go get it, somebody gonna go get it. Oh yeah, but he only did a guest collabo on a feature like 1995. You don't think somebody is on the tail end of that? So the young, I wouldn't just say young because that's subjective too, man. What is young, man? But our people are in the business without understanding of what this whole business is, which means that you have to have people that come along that even aligned by your family or some organization that lets you know what is, you know, and that's what I think the Hip Hop Alliance can do. Number one, really, it's in partnership with SAG-AFTRA.
Right. Which I used to say all the time, I felt like SAG was a perfect model.
That's the biggest plug because Curtis Blow, you know,
because SAG is that for actors, right?
Right. Yeah.
SAG provides that same type
not
of
just actors, anybody in the film industry.
Because me and EFN, I don't know if you know,
y'all
me
SAG
and EFN,
members?
no,
I'm a SAG member, recent SAG member, yeah.
Me and EFN have always been pushing this hip hop union because I feel like anybody, like I know how hard it is to be famous. It's the worst job in the world, right? Because you can never take off your mask. Like, I don't give a fuck how many times I could do. Like, if you could check into McDonald's, you could check into construction. Once you take your vest off, you're off.
Done.
I'm never off.
You're never off?
None of us is never off.
Don't think about doing no crime shit. Nothing. Ever.
Nothing.
So, before cameras.
Yes.
Don't think about like, yo, man, I could fucking do the dirty or whatever. It's like, yeah, okay, all right. You got the ID everybody's trying to fucking get.
Right. So I say this to say, I always felt like it should have been a hip hop union for us, and especially people. And I get it. Like sometimes they say, well, what if the person didn't make it? What if the person didn't go platinum? What if the person didn't go gold? It's even more we should take care of them
important
because they had to endure the looks of being shown and saying, oh, okay, this guy was a rapper and he didn't make it. Like. Oh, even worse, the one-hit wonders, right? The guys that have one hit.
All the participants. I mean,
this what I'm saying.
This is about the B-boys, the B-girls, the graffiti artists.
I feel like we should take care of them. I feel like
it needs to be the whole community of hip hop.
I feel like this is me personally. If you are participating in something that makes you famous and it doesn't actually work for you, I feel like we should. It's in us to take care of that. It's in us to say, this is inhumane right here. Because it's so hard to be famous, man. It's so terrible. Like I can.
So you can't go to CVS?
I don't want to go to CVS, but I want to get in Carbone early. So what's up, Marlon? You looking young as shit. You fucking this motherfucker here. Marlon Wayne. But I feel like the hip hop union. By the way, we want to support it.
You got to dance with fame. That's all right.
We got to support it. We got to support.
But it shouldn't be just for the people seeking fame, because there's a lot of people behind the scenes that are not seeking fame that also deserve to be taken care of.
That's what the Hip Hop Alliance has done very clearly. It's not based on we're the faces that draw it in, but you need infrastructure people. This show is built out of also infrastructure people that make it click and make it work. The masses out there, sometimes we confuse. Like when it comes down to us, they just say the masses. They just move the M over. They consider our masses them asses and think that we ain't
masters. You saying
the masses?
Masses. Okay, my bad.
They just move the M over to them asses.
I got confused.
See, I got bars that pass people like taxi cabs is 86. So you know.
Let me also ask you. You sued Universal.
I've sued and been sued, man. Matter of fact, there's so many damn shit. I mean, in that world, the average person has no fucking idea how many times that you're sued. It's a gunfight.
No, but Universal, okay.
Which lawsuit was this?
Because I believe that you sued on behalf of hip hop.
Yeah, I've been part of
class action
suit.
Class action.
Man.
So, okay, in my contract, let me relate it to me, right?
You've reread every page.
Never.
That's what I'm saying.
I ain't read shit.
Let me tell you this.
Chuck.
When the average person says, well, how come you rappers didn't read the contract? I said, you did the same when you
bought a car.
I accept on fucking social media.
Yes,
or you bought a car or whatever. Like, nobody read all that.
Oh, I don't even read. I just accept it.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just like,
I ain't got no time for this shit.
We get lawyers if we feel that this person we can trust. But yo, man, it's such a thick business, and then you got a contract that's like this. And somebody told me, said the reason that the contracts are like this because every single page is a fucking lawsuit.
Right.
Fuck.
You done signed
Because see, with mine,
3
right?
children.
Yep.
I never when I
so
looked
penalty records.
Penalty records. Yes. So when I went back and I looked at it, Nothing digital says anything digital about.
They didn't have
my
any digital
contract.
rights.
There was no
But
digital.
the first line says what?
I don't remember. I just wanted the money.
We all do.
It says in perpetuity in the universe.
Yes.
Territory.
Territory.
The world and
what?
The universe.
Yeah, the universe.
How the fuck?
Which is
You're
wild.
signed into the universe. So if we somehow get the fucking Neptune and shit, you know what I'm saying?
They taking your records that you put out in Mars.
Big up to Jay-Z, because Jay-Z is like our Jupiter. And the reason I say Jupiter is like, you know, if you study the solar system, Jupiter absorbs all the asteroids, all the collisions that would destroy Earth. They all go because he's big enough to absorb and protect the solar system with his magnitude, which allows us to fucking do anything.
God damn it. God damn it. Yeah, we gotta make another.
Big up to Jay-Z.
Big up to Jay-Z. I mean, I hear people go, hey, no. It's like, shit, man. He's going to absorb all that shit. And I was like, there ain't no asteroid hitting me.
Well.
So that's what I'm saying. With fame, fame is a fake construct. You know, fame is a 4-letter word. I used to tell people, I said, listen, I got a second story office in the world of the entertainment business where I always could go to the penthouse whenever I want to, but I choose to stay on the second floor because you could walk up the staircase before you catch the speed elevator. Now, talk to me before you go on up there. Sometimes the cats, I'll take the speed on the elevator up and then they'll see me. I said, I'm gonna go back to the second floor, but the speed elevator doesn't go to the second floor, it goes straight down to the basement. Maybe even a crash landing. See me before you go up, because it tells you how to handle the world of fucking fame, which is a 4-letter word that is synonymous with fade. Because it's a false construct, fame has a tendency to fade. It's a false construct, it's not really real, and that means it's another 4-letter F word. F-A-K-E.
Yep.
Fame
Fake.
might fade and it's faked, and if you don't believe that, you're fucked.
Right.
See me on the second floor. Because I get up to the penthouse whenever I want. I don't stay there.
Right.
I mean, I'll be like, whoop, 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 you know, bam, bam, bam. I'll go right back down to the second floor. That's where I'm comfortable at. But cats see me on the way up, and their rise and their levels to wherever they gotta be, I applaud that. I just say, enjoy it, man. I mean, come on, man. I mean, enjoy the process of dancing with fame, because you're better than fame. Fame is a construct. You do real art. You're a real thing. So it's something that you do. And I think, hey, listen, man, 62 years, going my 63rd year, I mean, it's good to be fucking me.
Goddamn, makes noise for that. Now let's just.
I don't want to be bigger. I want to be better always, but I don't want to be bigger. I just want to just be me and be able to continue to help. And when I see my man and other people, my fam and the group and all that, and they have things, and they're able to do things, and people that work with me, like C-Doc, who runs my record label, you know, Flatline, or the rap station. We just came out with the Bring the Noise app, which is cultural media. It's not social media, it's culture media. So it's the first app, and it ain't easy to make apps.
We gonna get off of Twitter?
It ain't, no. Everybody can stay at Twitter, they can stay on YouTube, they can stay wherever, Twitch, whatever. And here's the funny thing, is like, you know, back in the day, you know, I would have somebody say, well, watch it, Chucky. You don't know them people like that. I was like, matter of fact, I don't. Like, everybody trusts these things. Like, they know these people like Elon Musk or Zuckerberg. I don't give a fuck. So with me, I'm like, I'm not telling people to come along. This is just going to be there. And it's about fam. It's about film, art, music. And if you want to put your thing there, we'll coexist. Small little piece of real estate. Won't try to be social media, which sometimes, you know, like Scarface, big up to Brad Jordan, Scarface.
We call him Scarface. We can't call him Brad.
Yeah, he says, man, you know, Chuck, man, you know, shit is a sandbox, man. You can't have the strip pole in the sandbox. And he told me that. He said, yeah.
It's a great idea, though.
Yeah. Okay, we'll keep that one to yourself. You know, that takes us in a whole other thing. It's just like, the pole is a good thing, but the sandbox is where kids play.
Oh, I forgot that part.
Oh, you forgot that?
I forgot that part. Yeah, I live in Miami.
Because today,
sand everywhere.
Sand everywhere.
Yeah. Today, man, to me, it's like everybody got this 10 generations, man. there ain't no reason why a 50-year-old should try to appeal to a 20-year-old.
Right.
No reason. No, really. I mean, if a 40-year-old appeal to a 20-year-old, just be yourself. They come, cool. If they don't come, but in social media, catches up in a
you feeling an insecurity void. That's on you.
They're competing against each other. It's no
Not
fucking
younging
way,
yourself
man.
down for that.
I mean, yeah, just be who you are, grow gracefully, embrace aging as opposed.
Right.
You know, I mean, death is a real thing, man.
You never been on Black Twitter?
Nah, I remember when Black Twitter came along, I was like, I did, you know, and no offense, because if they all come at me on Black Twitter, I ain't reading it anyway. I'm just saying that
I love Black Twitter. They tell me, shut the fuck up.
Well, I don't, but listen. We got to watch these other platforms, because sometimes platforms, it's like other people own the platform, and I'm like, that's like motherfuckers throwing cotton at each other on a fucking plantation. Like, you know, I'm on that person's plantation, and I'm on that person's plantation throwing cotton. I built my own platform, and I'm just like, it's whatever. We'll stick to the culture, but, you know, I mean, plantation wars is social media, man.
Nah, we don't need it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, matter of fact, I'll answer your question, and like I said, we family now, so.
Yeah, we've been family.
White media.
Yeah, white media. Okay, shit, we didn't know we were going there. Got me.
When I did the PBS series, big up the PBS and the BBC combination, obviously I have a long readout of obligations, so it wasn't like I was ducking. We were circling.
No, don't worry. Listen,
you don't have to explain it at all.
No, I'm saying. But listen.
By the way, we are honored for your presence. Whenever.
Listen,
Chuck wants
there's
to come
white
and
involvement everywhere in the United States.
Yeah, I was a little mad at you. I seen you doing the white media. I was like, what's he doing? Come home. Come home, Chuck. Come home, Chuck.
I was very pleased when I came and I saw the neighborhood. I said, well, at least this shit is in the neighborhood that I recall. And matter of fact, down in Miami, right? I can remember where we at, right?
Yeah.
Down in Miami, I remember they even built Miami Arena in the hood and said, we can't have this shit here no more. And they fucking tore down Miami Arena.
Yeah, that's where one of the Source Awards happened in the old Miami Arena.
Why would they do that? They said, you know what, we can't have our fucking arena there. And I said, that's the first place well, not the first places we played, but the first arena that we played down here where the Heat first played.
Yep.
Wow. So they tore it down.
Yeah, they tore it down.
How the fuck you gonna tear down an arena in the black neighborhood?
Niggas. That's how they are. That's who they are.
Tell us.
I just threw Hialeah on you. I'm sorry.
So tell us, DJ EFN. Tell us, DJ EFN. What happened with that?
They just, I don't know. That's, to me,
You don't know.
No, we don't know. Does anybody know? Do you know?
That's MOB. That's the Miami Orange Bowl. It was in overtime.
No, he's talking about the arena, the Heat arena.
That was the Orange Bowl.
That was in Overtown.
Can you pass me the Sharpie?
Because they built up some.
We're talking about the Miami Arena where the Heat first played.
Yeah. I did a pirate radio right there, right next to it.
The Ronnie Cycli Miami Heat.
I think it just became a money thing to build the new one, so they had to tear down the old one. That's what I think. Something Miami, there.
Listen,
you know,
I've lived in Miami for 15 years.
Our local government is pretty shit.
15 years, yeah. And
he's Miami now.
I thought that New York was the foulest, corruptest place in the world. I was wrong.
No, our local government is
Miami. You can pay to get on probation out here. This is real. Off probation. But Chuck,
so we noticed back in the day because Luke had so much power here. They hated every move that Luke would make, and Luke was also hip hop. He was everything, man.
Yeah.
He's a pioneer in everything. And I said, damn. But Luke, you know, still made changes. He helped sports teams out.
He's still here.
And he's the person to go to and get advice on how to do your thing.
Right? Yep.
So yeah.
So, but before we get up out of here, I would keep it sealed.
Nah, man, open it up.
We got a couple of things.
Look, I got this shit coming out.
I'm not gonna lie.
And I'm not here to sell shit or beat people's ass with the past and shit like that. But this is what my pride and joy. But I got to talk about that because that's what I gave y'all. It's my first art book.
Art?
Yeah, it's my fine arts book. And
so I ain't got to read.
No, you ain't got to read.
Right.
It's words in it. Look at the pictures drawn in. I got marker and shit.
I'm fucking with you. I'm
My Sharpie?
I'm gonna read a little bit.
Lee took it.
A little bit.
And this is I'm just passing around. I gotta take this back.
Okay, hell yeah. Okay.
But that shit is
this
crazy.
shit heavy as a motherfucker.
Yeah, man. I could throw that shit and it hurt somebody.
Yeah.
But
You
that's
definitely catch a charge.
those are my NAFIC grovels.
Oh, wow.
And what I was able to do for all my years in hotel rooms, especially with Prophets of Rage, is that you got hotel time.
Wow, this is dope.
That's right.
With hotel time, man, the downtime, it's like, when my dad passed in 2016,
God bless.
I thought that, that art, I'm getting back in my art full time, but my downtime was the best therapy in the world. And then I did ayahuasca, right?
Oh, you did ayahuasca?
Oh, you do drugs? After all this time, you're going to admit you do drugs?
I've always wanted to do ayahuasca.
Look at your daughter's like,
You did a ritual. You did a ritual
Can I educate
ayahuasca.
y'all? DMT is a drug. All right?
Ayahuasca is not.
Also, listen. I'm educated from the best sensei a person could ever have, and that's the great Be Real of Cypress Hill, all right? So.
My sensei, too.
But, yeah, DMT is drug. So when my dad passed, I'm not hearing all that, oh, he's in a better place and all that, whatever. I said, you know what? I feel that I need to know where his spirit, is at. And sure enough, my Pilates coach, big up to KL, she's part of a community of people who did.
You got a different Pilates clothes.
Huh?
You got different Pilates clothes. Your Pilates clothes introduced you to the drug.
It was going. No, it was going. Listen, it was going around, right? And the conversation, the conversation was going around, and at the same time, Timmy, who's the bass player in Rage Against the Machine, he done everything.
Right.
And Timmy was telling me about, his trip, but doing DMT. And he said, like cats do mushrooms. It's like you see, an elephant and you shake your head, you don't see the fucking elephant. He said when he did DMT one time, you see the elephant, shake your head, and that motherfucker, yeah, I'm the fucking elephant. You know what I'm saying?
Stood right there.
I'm like, and Timmy's coming from the greatest rock bass player on the planet. When he tells a fucking story, his stories is just like, you lean in so far, it's like, motherfucker, you are nuts. But you're like, wow. So he told me this, and I was like, whatever. And then when my Pilates coach said she's a part of a community, remember, ayahuasca is the sacrament. It's the spiritual sacrament of
DMT.
Yeah. So I was like, so anyway, I was like, man, I'm gonna do it. She's gonna cut the shaman I know is gonna come to my house. My daughter's funny. She's like, Daddy, smoke weed first. So I'm like, you know what? I need to know where my dad's at. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel he's at, but you know what? Ain't nobody giving me no answers that I need to know right now. I mean, you talk to a man 55 years and all of a sudden, boom, the silence is like, yeah, And my dad, like I said, my dad and my mom is like, people tell me about heroes out there. I say, well, everybody's a step down from them two. It's like, good shit. When cats would say, yo, Chuck, your pops, man, when cats is 100, your pops is 1,000. I'm like, he damn right. He's like, that dude was amazing. So anyway, I want to know where his spirit was. So sure enough, the shaman, who always go back and forth to Peru. Remember, it's like illegal.
Yeah, Peru. That's
we fly him in from Peru just to roll blunts.
There you go. Yeah, he already knows the travel. So she came to the crib, and I felt when it was administered through chocolate, it's illegal in the country and all, but at the same time, you're going through enzymes, you're going through all kinds of training, the padding of the chest. I was as funny as a motherfucker. The room started to bend and all that, but I felt for a split second, I had this communication. I was good. I was like, fine. I didn't have to do it twice. I felt for a split second I was communicating.
With your father?
Yeah, man, for real. I mean,
wow.
And it was like kind of like 3/4 through.
So are we making noise?
So a year later, so listen. A year later, right? I know this is your show. I'm sorry. A year later, I was like, I did it. I already got my answer, but a community came. It's like, well, you want to come to the community to my house, and actually, revisit it with a community and see. I was like, I don't know. I was like, I got my answer. I ain't got to do ayahuasca again. But then I said, okay, cool. I'm gonna try something. when I went to the community, to a house, about 10, 15 people were there, same shaman, and I was sitting there, I was like, okay, all right, we got a group of people. So I asked her, I said, give me a ream of paper, a bunch of markers. So I sat in one spot in her living room. And then, of course, ayahuasca was administered and the sacrament and all that. And sure enough, I went through 85 illustrations, right? In 4 hours. But the crazy thing was, right? I was drawing shit out of every computed memory shit. And I was drawing with a style that, when you draw or paint or whatever, a lot of people do the exterior.
Right.
And then they go in. This shit was the energy on and formed the exterior. So I was going like this and not even looking down at it, right? So the thing is, when I stopped doing it, then the room started to bend and shit like that, right? When I started again, the room is clear as I'm speaking to y'all right now. So I'm doing this 85 illustrations, right? Came up out of that shit. So after, you descend, I'm like, cool, but my hands were doing this. Now, remember I told you earlier, I believe everything and nothing the fuck at all.
Right.
Some things ain't meant for us to process and understand why and what. I got my answer the first time, and the second time I said, well, it doesn't mean like, okay, I need to get ideas to fucking go and do ayahuasca so I could go into that zone and get ideas. I don't need that. What I was told is that because I'm an artist, and this is an important thing for artists, and this is why we're in the war of art instead of the art of war, we already have the ability to go and ascend and descend inside ourselves on an elevator of creativity. We're pregnant with ideas. Mm-hmm. Everybody has art in them. Not everybody could get art out of them. Right. So it's a rare opportunity when you have people create, and I'm a creative furnace. Ever since that time, I've done 30,000 illustrations. Yeah, I got downtime. What the fuck else I'm gonna do? Boom, 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 boom. I'm very fast because I worked at courtroom speed. And courtroom speed is back in the day where you have an illustrator go in and fucking, I gotta do this shit and get to the news station. Well, now, cats can do this shit and fucking email it or zip it to somebody. But back then, cats used to have to boom, go in the courtroom, sketch out the courtroom, get to the fucking courier, get that shit to the TV station, get that shit in there at 6:20 and shit like that. Yep. So you had to be a fast illustrator. Right. So that's what these books have come out in. And these are early works where I, and I didn't mean to cut you off before. I just wanted to get to the gist of the matter. That I've always been asked, oh man, how could I get this? Because social media really allowed art to come out. Back in the day, if somebody was an artist, he'd be like, yo man, come to my gallery. Yeah, I see it. Yeah, so you ain't going to the art show. But social media is like, boom, I'm gonna put some shit up. Damn, wow. And then that shit led to like, well, how could I get this shit? Do you boot prints? No, just download this shit. I don't fucking do it. And it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then people like, why don't you do books? Come on, do books and pop. And that's how that led to that. So everything in this business, I never sought out to do. From the Def Jam shit to the Prophets of Rage to art books, they always been a demand that dragged me in. The shit I like to do is unattractive shit. The shit that people end up wanting me to do is the shit that like, oh man, we'll make that shit something.
No,
so,
it would have been crazy that, if he would have put ayahuasca on his list. You know how
on the writer?
No, because a writer, like that's my most famous, my most favorite part of the show is when I ask, the artists, what do they want to drink, what do they want to have, and like on the list, if you would have put
that's
ayahuasca
a next level
on
drink
it,
champs.
like, oh my god, it's great.
And we would have done an ayahuasca ceremony right
well,
here.
You got to bring the shaman.
Yeah, we got that's a drink champs for the ages right there.
But remember, in every ritual, you guys have a ritual where it takes you to the place. The end result is like you're having a good time, you open up. I had never been a person, and where we come from, we're like, listen, man, anybody can do anything. Right. The crack epidemic was a problem because, there's a lot of problems with addiction on drugs that are fostered in the neighborhood because, like, back in the day, boom, we remember we doing parties and shit like that, man. I mean, come on, man. We up there rocking clubs, man. I mean, to 5 in the morning, and you think it's like a music, and cats ain't blinking and shit. They're like, yo, keep going. He's like, yo, we think it's like, yo, man, we roasted this fucking place, right? The cats is like, yo, man, it's like, cats ain't blinking. You know, like, yo, that shit again. That shit again, son. So it's the politics of the game. It's fucking people up. It's like, yeah, now, damn, yo, I don't give a fuck if you smoking or whatever in a cornfield. Now you gonna bust my window, fuck my shit up, and steal my shit to keep your shit going. That's the political problem I have with that. Or better yet, you gonna come into our gig, you gonna wear fucking dookie shit to get robbed and break up the fucking party. We used to tell people, no gold. You can't win no gold in this party. A kid fucking just like, yo, I worked at fucking Walmart fucking all year to get this gold chain and come in there with my pretty girl. I'm like, dude, don't do that. Do this shit right here. Take this shit and leave. We used to say, leave your shit in the car. Every once in a while, you get some asshole, man, and sure enough, yeah, right? And then you don't talk around, you look at 6 cats and you want to take them on? This party is ending, man. We can't have that. So Public Enemy did practical shit. Don't wear the gold because you can't protect the gold. It's like you one cat, man. This cat's looking at you like a steak on a platter.
Food, yeah, your food.
Like I said, I paid my man to wear my chain.
Okay. I don't know if they wrapping me up because I'm talking too much, guys.
They wrapping us all up.
Listen.
I'm not talking too much. All right.
Hold on. Look, I don't think I've ever done this in the interview, but I gotta give you a hug.
All right,
man, face to face, man. Yo, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you have no idea how much you mean to the community, and we're gonna always support you. And I definitely want my autograph.
Oh, yeah,
I need mine too.
Let's not forget that.